FM 100.5 Smyrna, streaming worldwide on WGNSSports.com, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches since 1992. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We'll talk to the coaches about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. Now from News Radio WGNS, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome in to this November 18th Saturday morning edition of the Coaches Corner. You know, we've been at this 30 years this year, and certainly glad you have been hanging out with us for a lot of these 30 years, if you have been. And for those newbies, yeah, we've been doing this since 1993. Thanks to many of our fine sponsors who have been with us for many of these same 30 years, and we appreciate them, each and every one, for making it possible to bring you the conversation. It is the Coach's Corner, but we spend this time talking about really the kids who really sacrifice themselves and play the sports that they love, and we're going to spend some time this morning talking about two sports this morning, football and girls basketball. It is a big day here as we've got some football conversation as we look ahead to the semifinals for one of our teams here in Class 6A, and also for one of our teams talking about a state championship berth. So let's first of all take a look at the scoreboard from last night. And it was a victory for the Oakland Patriots over their rival Riverdale Warriors, 56-0, the final in last night's contest. And Battle of the Borough goes in the playoffs, in the quarterfinals, to the Oakland Patriots at Riverdale last night. We're going to spend some time talking with, first of all, football coach Will Kreisky this morning in just a few moments from Riverdale. And then later on in the morning, around 9 o'clock or so, we'll have Oakland football coach Kevin Creasy on with us. And then Cougar Corner will be a little later this morning. Let's see, probably around 11 or a little after for Christian Peterson, who will be on, and girls basketball coach will be with us right before that, and that's, of course, Hannah Jones. So we'll spend some time with them on Cougar Corner today. But we'll tell you that MTCS was a winner last night, and not only did they win their football game, they punched their ticket after the win over Columbia Academy. They are headed to the Blue Cross Bowl with their victory, and they'll rematch with their region foe, Friendship Christian. So they get to head not only to Chattanooga to play, but they get to play what in essence is a region championship for the title. So that's pretty cool that it worked out that way. Last night a winner at Columbia Academy, 35-27, and a heck of a game. It's the first trip to the Blue Cross Bowl and the state championship for the MTCS Cougars. Was able to find one basketball score from last night in girls, Antioch 39, Smyrna 28, and the Antioch boys also winners over Smyrna 76-60 last night. All right, so there you go. A couple of scores from last night. So let me just run down our slate this morning so you kind of get our menu for the Coaches Show today. Just a few seconds away from Riverdale football coach Will Kreisky joining. Then we're going to talk some Riverdale girls basketball at 8:15, Smyrna at 8:30, 8:45 Laverne. Then Oakland football at 9, Oakland girls basketball at 9:15, 9:30 Rockvale girls basketball, Siegel at 9:45, Blackman girls at 10 o'clock, 10:15 Stewart's Creek, and Eagleville at 10:30. And then MTCS Cougar Corner around 10:45 or so for an extended 30-minute show. That's what we have on tap for you here this morning on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. John Dinkins and I will kind of be back and forth, and then I think Danny's going to have our last leg here of the show today. So hope you'll hang in there with us here on News Radio WGNS Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Stay tuned. We've got your Coaches Conversation straight ahead.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllSup.com.
When Rutherford Countyans think of insurance professionals, they think Rayburn Insurance Agency at 200 South Lowry in Smyrna, meeting the needs of thousands of customers since 1973. You can trust Rayburn Insurance with all your needs, a place where customer service really matters. It's personal with Rayburn Insurance, as fans of local sports, as friends, and as insurance professionals. Check them out at rayburn.net or call 615-459-4145. Rayburn Insurance, for business, auto, home, and life insurance.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you develop a complete and tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin. Time to talk Riverdale football. Will Kreisky joins us this morning. And, Coach, I told you when you walked in this morning that I'm sure that after a season-ending loss that our three faces are the ones that you definitely want to see on the morning after, our smiling faces, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It was rough. I tried to get Coach Voss to come in here and do this, but he said he's a little busy this morning. They've had a good week. They're 2-0, so it's good to see them start like that. But it was. It's tough to come in here this morning. There's not a lot of good that happened last night. It's just one of those things. One thing happened and another thing happened, and it kind of snowballed. The kids kept fighting, and they finished the game. But it's not really. Guess I got to move on and just look at what these kids accomplished this season and how they played all year long. And that's just not the team that's played all year long that showed up last night. But I'm proud of these young men. They've won over 10 games, and they played well all year. They played a real tough schedule, and they fought each and every week through adversity to get to the point they were at. And at the end of the day, they won 10 games, and that's pretty tough to do at the high school level. Oh gosh, you're not joking. When you say things snowballed, they snowballed right out of the gate. First snap. I mean, it's really kind of hard to explain. I'm sure that you really just didn't have words at times because it just seemed like every time you touched the football, something bad happened and something good happened for Oakland. Yeah. When you lose the ball like that and give them a short field, it's really tough. You got to make that team drive, and that's what we were able to do the first time we played. We made them drive the field, and they didn't have to drive the field last night. They're a top football team in the state for a reason, and you can't give a program like that the ball in the 30, the 20, and expect to have good things happen to them. But it's tough. Well, I do want to spend the bulk of our time here talking about the season that you had because I went back and just kind of looked over the body of work that was Riverdale football in 2023. And, Coach, you started off 2-2, and there was a little head scratching. It was like, gosh, we thought, Riverdale was going to be this, that, and you knew what you had. Your guys knew what you had, and you talked about that tough schedule. But I guess maybe there were some doubting Thomases out there. Talk about that part of the season because that first quarter of the season,
was a little bit of adversity you had to overcome.
Yeah, it was, and when we started off 2-2, people were questioning, and they didn't really realize or know how good we would be. But the kids knew. The kids knew that they're a pretty good football team. They just had to correct mistakes. We lost to Henry County and we lost to Germantown, both really good football teams, and we played them both well. But that made us realize that everything in practice matters, and doing all the little things right will help you for Friday night success. And those kids came out focused and won 8 straight, and that's a pretty big accomplishment, like you said, starting the season 2-2.
I kind of ran out of time to look, but I was trying to go down and look and see how many teams that you played made the playoffs, and it was like the majority of everybody on your schedule that made the playoffs.
Yes, they did, and that's like you said, it's a tough schedule, but our non-district schedule was really tough, and but again, it got us better to put us where we're at.
After those first 4 games, the bulk of the rest of your regular season before the Week 11 game, you were scoring at least 49 points or more, and so that's when your offense really began to start gelling together and putting together this run, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. They played really well together, and all of them were healthy and doing well and having success. And Braden, had a really good job, and leading them and making sure everybody was in the right spot. So yeah, we hit our stride at a good time against region opponents, and was able to win some big region football games this year.
Will Kreisky joining us here this morning as we talk Riverdale football. Their season ends at 10-3 mark, and there's one thing that you look at here on your schedule that is something that hasn't happened in your tenure, and it did not happen. Maybe it happened when in your tenure as an assistant coach, but not a lot, and that's region champion record 5-0.
Yeah, we did win it a year with Coach Adelot, and then this year we've been able to win the region, and it's the first time in over a decade that we won the region, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal. This region is a tough region. It's hard to win games in this region, and to be able to be region champs this year, that like you said, that's a big accomplishment for the program.
Well, I mean, you have to look. When you play in this region, everybody calls it the not everybody, I guess maybe we selfishly call it the SEC of high school football, but it's hard to find a tougher region, especially this year. I mean, there are quality teams up and down the entire lineup, it seemed, this time.
Yeah, the region was really tough this year, and everybody was really good, and you had to be prepared and come out and play. You had to make sure you were on top of your game, or you weren't going to win those region games.
Yeah, had a chance to play your brother in a Kreisky Bowl that meant region implications, which I guess was a bit different for you too.
Yeah, that was a tough game, and it's always a tough game when it's Riverdale Blackman, and a lot of those kids remembered getting beat the year before, and kids take that personal. So it was a good win this year for our program also.
Well, this is a group of players, coach, that you've got that have been around with you for quite some time, obviously, and you've got a very special group of seniors, and this is unfortunately this morning after thing is very tough, but you've got a special group, and I don't want you to name each and every one of them, but I know that this group has been through some tough times, and just hung in there with you and was able to accomplish a region championship in their senior year.
Yeah, this senior group was a really good group. They did the right things on and off the field. They led our football team, and like you talked about earlier, they led us through adverse times and through adversity, and that's going to help them. And as they move on and move to the next phase of their life, and they'll be great, leaders someday. And I was really proud of, like you said, all of them. It's too many. 26 to name, but they are a really good group, and they always had my back and played really hard for us, and just great guys.
26 is a lot, though, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
When you look at, and I'm sure you you know that, and looking down the road, but you're into program building. You're not in this for 1 year, even though your focus has obviously been on this season. But you obviously have coaches in place and ideas, and you've got a program in place. So it's freshmen, it's JV, it's all of those things that are very important to your program.
Yes, it is, and I'm fortunate enough to have a good staff, to have guys. I got a great staff. Ms. Blair lets us hire good guys and get them in the right spots. And the staff I have, I'm very fortunate with all those guys and the time they spend and work to help put in, like you said, the program, and it's not just a one and done thing. Being a program builder, and all the guys that we got on staff invest a lot of time in these kids and really truly care about these kids and work hard to see these kids be successful.
There's one other thing that this group did that I don't want it to go unnoticed as well, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but I think it brought the Riverdale community back even stronger this year. I saw pictures last night floating around of Corey Carney and Fernando Bryant, and I mean, pictures of people saying class of 76 and, class of 82, let's go Warriors, that kind of thing. And, that's really awesome to see, I think. Yeah,
there was, like you said, Corey spoke to the team Thursday, and then Fernando came by yesterday, the field house. And so, it was, I told the kids that I did tell, that's what I told them last night after the game, is that they had this community fired up. They've got a lot of old people back out and involved and just around it. And at the end of the day, they got a lot of people in this community talk about Riverdale, not just the football program, but the Riverdale community overall and all the good things that are happening over there.
Another thing that I did want to mention too is, yesterday driving up, we were all told to get there early, and when James Evans gets involved and sends out, a traffic notice to the entire county about coming to a high school football game, it's a pretty special deal, right?
That's right. Yeah, I was getting ready to leave for work yesterday, and I saw on the news that the news was talking about it in traffic, and I just, I knew that it was going to be a good night, good atmosphere, and it's really neat to see everybody that came out last night to support these programs, all the programs from the band, the football, the cheerleading, and it was just a really nice community event last night.
Well, I don't want to start naming people, but it does start at the top, and I saw your principal, Tamara Blair. She was in the press box, and then we get set up and go to do our bathroom break before we go on the air, and she's down on the field, and she's on a radio, and she's talking to somebody on the radio and pointing to someone else, and then giving directions to someone to come onto the field, all while a Gator is going by that wants to talk to her. And, that's one of the many people who were helping to make all of this work last night. And it's a really big production to put on a football game.
Yeah, they did. Yes, and especially one of that caliber last night, and between Coach Macer and all the admin team and our SRO, Officer Bragg, they did a phenomenal job last night, and everything went well and smooth. And some of the Oakland people even thanked me for not having so many people around the field as was at our game and things like that. And I thought, everybody did the right things to make sure everybody's safety came first.
Well, Coach, I do appreciate you coming in. I know that this has got to be one of the most difficult things you do the morning after, and I do appreciate it. And it's more about the kids and talking about the program. It's a selfless thing that coaches do a lot of times, and I know it's called the Coach's Corner, but it's really about talking about your kids and the program. And you've got a lot of things to be very proud of: 10-3, 5-0, region champs, and congratulations on a fine season, and congratulations to all of the Riverdale Warriors.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. That's Will Kreisky joining us this morning on the Coach's Show, which is brought to you by, here on the Coach's Show, our fine friends at the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injured victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here, and you are our neighbors. foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutoRepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
Over 100 crispy Old World pepperoni. Cheesy crust edge.
This Fanceroni pepperoni from Little Caesars is fancy.
Am I fancy enough for the Fanceroni? I'm wearing cargo shorts.
But Tim, me too. Fancy isn't measured by your inseam. Because if you are what you eat, then we're all feeling mighty fancy today. Yeah!
Try the Fanceroni pepperoni with over 100 Old World pepperoni.
In Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Church, and Old Fort.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
Whether you're buying or selling a home or whether you're buying or selling commercial property, the auction is just so much easier, quicker, smoother.
My wife and I sold our personal home. Parks Auctions helped us with that. The house brought about 20% more than we were going to ask for.
Visit our website at parksauction.com to learn more.
Hi there, 12 and a half now, $15.
Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
I want expert advice on going 100% solar.
I want to go green without breaking the bank.
I want to meet my sustainability goals.
I want solar to be simple.
Done.
I want to save the planet.
Little hero, let's start with one of MTE's solar programs first. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Lascassas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. And joining me here on the show for the first time ever, Josh Bugg, head coach of the Riverdale Lady Warriors. And Josh, I want to kind of get started since this is your first time. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You don't have to tell everything, but tell us a little bit. I know you've got coaching experience with Columbia, so tell us Columbia High School. So tell us a little bit about that.
Columbia Central, first job opportunity to be a head coach. I was very thankful for that opportunity, and I spent 4 years down there. The set of cards I had was they had went winless for 2 years, and it took a couple of years to get it turned around. And then in the fourth year, we had a really good season and ended up getting put out by Blackman in the region. It was the first time they made the region in several years. And then I spent 2 years as an assistant. 1 year at Hillsboro, we were in the sub-state. And then last year, I actually almost was going to be the head coach at Tullahoma, and I ended up going with Chad Hibden as an assistant coach. And in those 2 seasons, I just learned a lot. I reflected a lot on things that I could do better as a head coach. And then this opportunity right here presented itself, and I was like, this is perfect. This is the place I started coaching girls basketball. When I was at MTSU finishing my degree, I ended up at Riverdale with Ricky Field, and I student taught there. And during that time, Corey Barrett asked me if I'd like to help coach, and I never really thought about coaching girls, and it was just kind of God's plan for me. And so really excited to be at Riverdale. There's not another school I'd want to be at, and it's kind of full circle for me.
You threw some names out there, Corey Barrett and Chad Hibden. I mean, a world of experience, and especially in championship games and playing really games that high stake games, I guess you'd say. And you're really young. You're not an old guy, and so. The Riverdale Challenge here, they struggled last year. And when you took the job, I know Miss Blair wants a winner. And kind of, is it overwhelming to think about that? Or what led you to Riverdale? What made you want to be their head coach?
Tamara Blair. She's first and foremost. when the opportunity presented itself and they reached out, I really thought that it was where God wanted me to be, and if God's behind me, I'm not going to fail. And so that's kind of the tip of the spear there. I really believe in the school, and Coach Kreisky just left here. And, you know, when I was at Riverdale in 2013 as a volunteer assistant, Coach Kreisky used to be an assistant coach, and he was the one that did our weight room stuff for the girls. And so just those long-term relationships in the building. I didn't know Ms. Blair as much, but I loved our conversations that we had in my 2 interviews. And with Coach Messer still being there and Coach Voss being there for several years, it just seemed like, hey, this is an opportunity for a younger coach to come in and really give these girls some stability. And, you know, so I created a vision that's kind of stepped and tiered to the level of success that we need to be at if we're doing our jobs as Lady Warriors basketball coaches, and that's the region championship, sectional level. And it's going to take a few years for us to get there, but we're taking the steps that we need to right now. And, you know, so my vision for the program is tiered towards that direction, and I feel like I have the support within the school building. So it was a no-brainer to want to come and be a part of it.
Well, you've gotten off to a good start. I think 1-1, and one of the games you lost, you were leading and got in some foul trouble. An injury, I think, occurred in that game as well. So you fell in that one, but I think when you're looking at it, you're looking at effort, and you're looking at how they handle themselves. And I think from what I can tell from you're pretty pleased up at this point right now.
Yeah, I had an official in the Summit game tell me, he said, you know, Coach, you got them playing that hard. He said, you can fix all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I looked at him a little bit last year. I didn't really pay him attention because I had my own team that I was coaching. With the Tullahoma Lady Wildcats, but you know, they sat back in the zone a lot, and you know, you're just not going to see a lot of championship caliber teams that don't play at least a significant amount of man-to-man defense or press. You know, so we've had that mentality since the summer. The reality is we've got several 9th and 10th graders that are contributing to our varsity, and just a handful of experienced players. And you alluded to Nora Haney. She's our point guard right now. She ended up fouling out with an offensive charge in that Summit game. And I'm confident in her kind of leading us this season, as well as a couple of our other seniors that we can talk about a little bit here. So.
Let's do that because I know you had somewhat of a foundation. You had a few that were left over, and some of them older. And talk about them first, and we'll talk about those youngsters and the newcomers.
Absolutely. So I'll start with Chloe. I'm not going to say her last name correctly, but it's Chloe Heward. And every time I say it, she corrects me. But she came to us not during the summer, but once school had enrolled, and we had been hearing about her as a foreign exchange student. And she's just another kind of veteran guard that's played basketball her whole life, and I really feel like once we get into our district play, she'll be one of our better players that people have to pay attention to on the scouting reports. And just right now what we're working through is, you know, if we're communicating fast pace in the middle of a game, making adjustments, it's just that language barrier a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she's averaging like 5 points through 2 games, and she hadn't played a whole bunch of minutes. She started both games, but she's going to be pretty good for us. And then we've got another guard. Her name is Jackie Hardrick. She's actually connected to David Cowan, who's one of our assistant principals at the school. And so Jackie's really electric. She's really fast. She's got the ability to knock down threes. She can play really good defense. She also runs track and field for us. And so we need to tighten up her handles a little bit, but she's got the ability to be an impact player for us in big moments. And then there's Nora Haney. You know, Nora Haney is she is such a blessing to have as a team leader in year one. She's a 3-sport athlete. You know, I can remember us having – I talked to Coach Reinhardt last night. We had our first win in volleyball season since 2015, I believe. And so Nora Haney would be in the volleyball playoffs, and she would be in the weight room with the basketball team during the day. And she just makes no excuses. And we tried to keep her off the ball, but we decided it was going to be best to let her run the point. And she stepped up in that role. We made that adjustment in our play days, and she's doing really well. First game had 0 turnovers. I think our last game she may have had 2. And she scored double digits in each game. But it's just the competitive spirit that she has. she's also a big believer in her faith, and she just impacts everybody in a positive way, including me.
And you've got some youngsters that you've kind of won from Christiana Elementary, or I guess that's middle,
Yeah.
Christiana Middle, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I know you're happy about that too, that she's doing well.
Yeah, that one's Madison Taylor. And, you know, so I looked at it when I first got here, and I finished the school year in Tullahoma, so I really didn't get as involved as I will this, year in terms of going to games and stuff like that, because I was working in Tullahoma. But I make a joke with her and her mom. I said, I can get 6, 7 freshmen every year. I said, or I can get one good one. I said, I'm really glad I got you. And, she can really shoot the ball. She's really smart. Any time a kid can come in as a freshman and score in a varsity game, you got something. And so Madison Taylor, we're looking forward to more big things out of her. We want to be patient with her and not put too much pressure on her because she is young. But I feel like she'll surprise some people too, and she's definitely someone you got to pay attention to already when we play you.
Josh Bugg, head coach of the Riverdale Lady Warriors, we're talking to here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. All right, talk about mindset. We have, when a team comes off a year that couple of wins maybe, what did you do? You've got to change the mind of all of them in terms of game experience and plus, outside forces as well.
Yeah, so I can credit Chad for this and just my experiences that I've had being an assistant and a head coach, but you have to tap into a deeper level. And so I've got my master's degree in theology, and so I really try to pour into the kids in different ways. But like our foundational things that we're instilling in these girls right now is the concept of roots. The R is for relationships, the 2 O's are ownership and organized, the T is for trust, and the S is for skilled. And so really what we've done is we've done 2 and 3 a days, whether that's our breakfast club where the kids are coming in at 6:45 to 8 in the morning, to our athletic period during the day where we're lifting weights, to after school. And so these kids are just really working hard and they're buying into it. And, when the kids come in the morning from the buses, when the Lady Warriors basketball team is down there on the floor and they're getting in, player-led shooting workouts and, small scale 1-on-3 workouts with the coaches, and people see them in their Lady Warriors gear and they have numbers and interest in the team again. They just start to build the beginning stages of something special. And so they bought into hard work. Hard work works. We've explained to them, the history of Riverdale basketball, and there's a little remnant, with Haney being there, and there's a little remnant with me being there as a volunteer assistant coach in the past, and the teams and the talent that we had there, and just all the people that have been on my side to support me through, the vision that I've created. And so I think they see the vision, and that's the most important thing, because like I said, I'm a believer. The Bible says without a vision, the people perish. And so this team definitely has a vision. They have several coaches and administrators that love them and want the best for them. And it's only a matter of time, and time is the hardest thing because you got to wait and be patient. But the Lady Warriors will be successful again. But it starts in the locker room, and it starts with our culture.
Riverdale with a long history of having championships and that kind of thing, and trying to build it back up to that point again. People have to understand it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be, okay, we're Riverdale, boom, here we go. But you've got to have that vision, though, and I think everybody still and will support that for you to get there.
Yeah. I think the thing that I said to myself the other day was, like, I always have to be focused on where we want to go, but I don't want to be too dismissive of the compliments in between the beginning stages and where I would like for us to be. And so we can't get too high, can't get too low. We just need to be grateful for every day. We need to have strong relationships, and we need to work hard. And if we do that and we stick together, Riverdale High School is going to impress some people when it comes to girls and boys basketball this year, and we're going to attract the situation that they've had in the past. And we want to create an attractive situation, and we want talented basketball players to come to our school and want to be a Warrior and a Lady Warrior.
All right. Well, we talk again in a couple of weeks. we will talk about games. So I know 1-1 sounds real good for you guys right now. So congratulations on the good start. That's Joshua Bugg, the head coach of the Riverdale Lady Warriors. And this portion of the show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com. And when we come back, we're going to be talking Smyrna girls basketball.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. Tell us what it's like to work at a family business.
It's a lot of fun. However, it's a lot of work. Everybody has to pull their weight equally.
What do you think are some of the advantages of people doing business with a family business versus a corporate business?
We are here to answer all questions. We're responsible for scheduling jobs. We're not here to sell you material and pass you off to a list of installers.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go blue!
Sir Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carryout or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Franklin's Printworks has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer, everything from business cards, brochures, booklets to banners. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Printworks. We hear a lot people who have been working with printers on the internet, had issues, and they know that if we're working with someone local, that A, they know where to find us, and B, they know that we'll take care of it because we have to take care of our neighbors. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion brought to you by iDis Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at idistees.com. That's IDEAS Tees, okay? For those who, kind of like me, have a little trouble with spelling. Joining us here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner is Lonnie Drayton, the head coach of the Smyrna Girls. And, Coach, I'm hearing that you're a little hoarse. We'll do the best we can, okay?
Hey, it's all about effort, right?
Wow. Is this Lonnie? No, I'm kidding.
I feel like what's his name? Barry. I forgot the R&B singer's name.
Oh, yeah. I guess you've already started some games then, I take it, with that voice of yours.
Yeah, we're back-to-back nights. We were Thursday and Friday this week. So, yeah, Thursday night, second quarter, it was gone. So
wow.
Then I had to go. Then I had to go Friday night.
That usually happens your first day of teaching, after the first week of teaching. You know,
That's
your
right.
voice goes, it's kind of similar, isn't it?
That's right, because sports history, I go all in on my sports history class, let me tell you.
And I bet you probably are doing a little bit of yelling at sons' games and daughters' stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's Rocky Fork basketball, 8th grade season. He's they're out there playing, and I missed Thursday night's game, thank God, because he had me fully convinced on Thursday morning. He said he was like, Dad, we're going to upset Blackman tonight. We're going to upset Blackman. So I was trying to rush. My daughter was at the game, Alicia, and I was trying to rush. Every girl get on the bus. So at the end of our game, I had a quick post-game talk. We got the win, so I had a quick post-game talk thinking I could go up there and catch the second half. I get to the bus and get a phone call from Alicia. She was like, Dad, relax. Not worth coming. It's really bad.
I'll tell you, I've gotten a few calls like that too. And really it is so difficult for you, because I know I've been there. You're coaching and you're trying to see your kids play. So every night of the week is pretty much taken, right?
That's right. Every single night.
But I do know you've got a lot of relatives that will support if you can't be there.
That's right.
There's about 12 or 15 of them in there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely do.
All right, let's talk some Smyrna girls basketball. Over the last few years, I think you've done a terrific job with them, and the program was in dire straits really when you took over, and now you've got them to the point where they're competitive. We've gotten into some district play and some region play, and all good signs. Where are you right now? Do you think you are at this stage of the program in terms of all of that, really?
I think we're at a weird spot right now, because I think the culture is where we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we lost a lot last year, with Amaya Saffold and Janae Edmondson and Mila Edmondson. We lost a lot, about 70% of our score. But what we build upon right now is the culture of the team and the culture of the program, and it's just all out. I got off the court yesterday. We lost to Antioch. Should have beat them. Missed. Should have, could have, would have. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But should have beat them. Missed 17 free throws and 9 in a row to end the game, and we lost by 8, I think. But people came to me from Antioch. It was weird because it was a heated game. The game was, two-point game in the fourth quarter. And, guys came to me and parents came to me from Antioch, and they were like, I've never seen a team play that hard for 4 quarters. And just, people that aren't part of your community saying that means something. And I'm fully invested in the fact that our girls are going to go out there. And we may be small, we may be undersized. I told them at the end of the game, we have to block out, we have to play hard, we have to play fast, because we're about two inches away. Realistically, we're about 2 inches away from people have to come in and build us custom lockers, because that's how small we are.
And you really haven't had the luxury of having a big post underneath as you've been coaching. You've had small teams, but I think you said it right when those people from Antioch were saying about that's the culture you're trying to build, and they understand what your culture is. The girls do know that coming in, and even the young ones that come in.
Oh yeah. The young ones coming in are a little shell shocked in the summer.
Yeah.
It's nice Coach Drayton when I go to their middle school games and watch them. And then, when they step on the court for us, it's about, the intensity picks up and the effort and the voice picks up. And, we expect them to run. We expect them to go because, when you're little, you better do stuff fast.
Yeah.
You better do stuff a lot faster than the big.
I know you're looking for some people to replace some of the seniors, and tell us a few names, if you will, some people that you're looking to counting on or have surprised you.
Oh yeah, Destiny King. She's a 4-year starter.
Scorer too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She had 20 points in the first game. When we beat Valor on Thursday night. She had 20, hit a lot of big shots, and then last night, the shots were in and out. So those same shots that were falling down, I think it was first game at home jitters, and we couldn't make them fall. And we, like I told her last night, if she's not hitting shots, it's going to be really hard for us to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not putting pressure on a kid. That's just the reality of where we are right now.
She probably puts enough pressure on herself because I've seen her when she's not having her best game. It eats her up inside, I think.
It does, and she's one of those kids that's blessed to be have played for me 4 years in basketball and then 4 years in softball. So it's hard. I forget that I say some stuff to her, and I forget she's not like my blood kid sometimes because she'll say something and I'll just react like I would to LJ or Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Really, I'm not apologizing to her. She knows it.
But she knows you. I mean, she knows what your expectations are.
That's right. But Tanaja Johnson, she's a junior. If you see her, she's little bitty. Her hair is longer than her body. But let me tell you, she's one of the faster kids. And she's one of the faster kids in Rutherford County. She's just little bitty. We got to teach her, to use that size as an advantage because, she sneaks around people. She's going behind, picking pockets, and she's just, hitting big shots because she's sneaking through the crowd. She's got to score. And then another senior, Ati Norman, who started the last couple of years. She's a kid that she's struggling right now. It's her senior year. It's 2 games in a row. Thursday and Friday, she was in foul trouble, and she's starting to feel the pressure of this is my last hurrah. So she's trying to force a couple things that hopefully she can. Hopefully we can get her back in with these practices over the Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of games. It's a long way, so I'm sure there'll be improvement. Anybody else before I move on? I don't want to leave anybody out, but I also don't want to put you on the spot. But trying to do that because I know you don't have anything in front of you. So,
well, Emma Brooks, sophomore, and Dee Dee Hills, a senior. Another one, Jakaya Herrera. Those 3 kids have got to, have got to play big for us this year. Jakaya is a defensive stopper. I think we could put her in and she'll go. And another senior, Cece Fields, she's a soccer player, but, decided to go all out her senior year. I've started her the last 2 games and, they are tenacious. They fly around. We're working on basketball, the actual basketball IQ of it. But the thing is, and I tell them all the time, I should never have to come in and coach effort. And right now I don't, they go in and they're, I have to, and I love this about them. I have to calm them down. I have to slow them down, rein them in rather than tell them to go. So that's a great thing right now early in the season. I hope we can keep it. I hope it's the same way in February. If it is and those shots are falling, we may surprise some people.
One last question.
Mm-hmm.
You've got them in doing the culture that you want, and you said you've got to slow them down a little bit. You've done a good job of creating that, haven't you? They've bought in.
Oh, yeah. They are definitely bought into it. They are definitely bought in from, and sometimes it struggles in practice because the same intensity that we have on the court, that's the same intensity that I expect every practice. And it's hard for kids, especially high school kids, teenage girls to understand that just because you're not having a good day or your boyfriend is, acting like an idiot, I don't want you can't bring that into my practice. Once you step in between those lines, it is the same intensity that I expect every day. So
Same philosophy with softball too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the softball girls. I mean, they're about the same. They're the same way, and I got a senior loaded softball team this year. A lot of seniors that are already committed to colleges. We've already, we've probably got 5 or 6 that are already signed. A junior that's already signed, and this freshman class is one of the best freshman class I've ever brought in, and I expect it, and I'm extra hard on them just because I know that it's seniors.
Yeah.
It's easy
Expectations, man.
Exactly. It's easy to be complacent.
Lonnie, I wish I could talk to you longer. We got to go, but we'll see you in a couple, or talk to you in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to try to visit out there at Smyrna here in the next couple of weeks. So after we get football season over, okay?
Heck yeah. All right.
All right. That's Lonnie. Yeah, man. That's Lonnie Drayton, the head coach of the Smyrna Lady Bulldogs. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Steve Carter, Laverne basketball. Stay with us. This portion of the show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
With the service you get from State Farm, you might think our car insurance costs more. I'm State Farm agent Celeste Middleton. Give me a call at 615-895-2700 and let me show you with discounts up to 40%. You may find it even costs less.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
Hello, my name is Colleen Clary, a mortgage loan officer with F&B Mortgage, a division of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. Here at F&B Mortgage, we are dedicated to serving you and our community. We understand the challenges that are faced in today's economy when purchasing a home, and we are here to help guide you through the process every step of the way. Contact me today or visit our website at fnbmt.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of our show brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Cal Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. And we have Laverne's girls basketball coach Steve Carter with us today. And I just finished talking to Lonnie, and a similar history for Laverne girls who struggled for a few years. And Lonnie's kind of instilled his what he wants for them to do. And I think it's the same at Laverne with you. I think you're trying to instill a winning formula here, and you have certain expectations from them.
Yes, sir. We lost 4 seniors from last year's team, and one in Tiana Condra that was a 1,000-point scorer, and Corey Grimes, a senior captain leader that she was. So we're extremely young. We've got 6 sophomores, 4 freshmen, 2 juniors, 2 seniors. So we're still trying to figure some things out. Last year, being that it was my first year with the program, I let some things go that I probably wouldn't let go normally. And this year I've instilled more of my core values to the program. So we're kind of starting afresh, and I like the direction that we're heading. The girls are working extremely hard.
You know, you bring up a good point about the first year, because you don't want to just pretty much just throw away everything that they've learned previously. I mean, that would be kind of disastrous, I would think. And you've got to kind of walk carefully, but then still instill those things that you want and gradually get it to the level you want them at.
I felt like I had to be fair to the girls, the seniors. I was their third coach in 4 years. So, again, I had to allow them to do some things and freelance on their own, but at the same time trying to instill what I wanted to do. But those girls were amazing last year, and really excited for what they started with the program. And then this year, like I said, most of the girls have already bought in, had a really good summer. One of the first times that Laverne was able to have a full summer of work. Got to go to some team camps, and I think each year we're just going to continue to get stronger because the girls know the value of that off-season work that we put in.
Steve, it's a matter, too, and Laverne, I know, had a problem a lot of times just getting enough girls to go out. And evidently it sounds from what you just described, that culture has started to get better, and you can actually do things like team camps because you got enough.
Yes, sir. Able to have last year was able to have a JV team, and the same thing we'll do this year. Just trying to make sure that the girls that are zoned or are supposed to go to Laverne High School want to come there and want to perform and want to play. So it's just an overall culture change there that we're trying to change from the top to the bottom. And this year I have 2 more coaches I've added to the staff, so I'm blessed this year with some extra help. So we're grinding every day.
Okay, we talk about the youth, and you have kind of supplied. You told me what you're doing today. You've got a game. Well, tell us a little bit about that because there's some pretty high cotton in there.
Yes, we play at Cascade Middle School today. They have a Hall of Fame tournament style, and we play Moore County at 12 today and Jackson County at 3. So some really stiff competition. Watching game film on Huddle last couple of days. Most importantly on Moore County, our first contest. They run a lot of different variation of jump defenses, and they're going to get after you in guard, and very well disciplined and very well coached.
And I guess we always talk about basketball season having 3 phases: the kind of the early part, then the district, and then the playoffs or the region and that kind of thing. This is the learning stage. I mean, you want to win, but you schedule these teams. You want to have tough competition early.
Yes, sir. We're going to a lot of different places this year. We're going to Pickett County for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have a classic we're going to play in, and some really stiff competition early on because with the new district alignment, it's not going to be easy. With Wilson Central, Cookville, and Lebanon coming into our district along with Smyrna, Stewart's Creek, and ourselves, very extreme competition. So getting this early tough games out now is only going to help us when district play arrives.
Well, tell us a little bit, and I'm always putting coaches on the spot the first time we meet for the year, but tell us a little bit about some people that either are coming back or some newcomers you're excited about.
Yes, sir. Ace Sistrunk is our starting point guard. She's only a sophomore. Had her and Yavelle Walden last year that both started as freshmen, so that experience that they got under the lights last year is only going to help them grow and improve this year. I've got one senior starter, Kavana Wilson. That's my captain for the team. She's a 4.0 student, goes to Mott Lowe, so she's working on getting her associate's degree and looking at going to maybe Spelman College in Atlanta. So got some high expectations for her. Shania Burton and Alexia Buggs are 2 of my sophomore post players that are both kind of mixing, matching, starting, and coming in and getting the same amount of quality minutes. And so a lot of youth there. I've got one freshman, Hannah McDuffie, that has come on and started getting more minutes than what I thought she would get this early in the season, but she brings a lot of high energy to the court. Just got to get her to slow down and play a little bit more composed, but she brings a lot of energy, and she's excited to watch.
And that's a weird mixture. You're right. Does it put more responsibility for that senior, the captain? Is she kind of the on the court kind of this is if somebody's doesn't know where they are without you having to do it all the time?
Well, with all due respect to her, I'm still looking for that.
Yeah.
She is not a leadership role is probably not what she would have liked, but she didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's growing into it, and she's constantly asking me, Coach, what else can I do? She's a very quiet, reserved kid, but she does everything that you ask, then some. She'll run through a wall. She'll get on the ground. She's taken 2 charges already in preseason action. So she does everything the right way. And so she more so leads by example as opposed to what she's going to say to you on the court because that's not her style. So still looking for some people to step up in that regards, but that's what happens when you have a young basketball team.
Yeah. You've had some success, first year there. And I know it's always hard, like in high school, because you almost feel like you're rebuilding every, a little more often than you really want. But instilling the JV program last year and having that program and having, camps and those kind of things, it's just an exciting time to me for Laverne and the girls there, because that's things I know they haven't always had.
Yes, sir. The thing with this coaching this generation, these kids, though, they've got to see results. So, it's twofold. You play in this stiff competition early on in the season. You know what's coming for you, but you just have to tell them it's a process. They just got to continue to believe in what we're doing and the growth that they're getting, because I told them the girls that played last year and the ones that came every day this summer and every day in the off season and when we got back in August, they've grown so much in 1 year. So hopefully they can look back and see that they are getting results. It's not always going to be in the win column, but it's going to help them on later on down in life.
And Steve, when you look at their bodies change too, you get stronger and you get, from 1 year to another. Playing freshmen and sophomores can be a disadvantage about that physically, particularly in boys, but girls too, to have that, maturity physically to take on the rigors of basketball.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm also blessed this year. We have a new teacher this year, and she has got them actually in the weight room, and she is a speed coach. That's kind of what she specializes in. So she's doing a lot of stuff that they've not seen before. That's even new to me, that I've kind of taken notes on, that it's really helped get them stronger, quicker, more athletic. And so I'm excited to see, at the end of the year, how much growth they have there as well.
The Laverne program, they've had great years. They've had some not so great. They've had even actually just bad years. But, you can go back and look, Coach, at all those girls that contribute even in the bad years, and to try to build this program back up, and you're at the tip of the iceberg. I think I think you feel it, and I think stability is what that program needs, and I think you're providing that.
Yes, sir. Well, I told the girls, I'm here. Hopefully they continue to want to work and continue to want to grow. But if I can see this group through, these sophomores, and I think the sky's the limit for them, and getting through this competition early on and them getting put on the floor in these situations should make us pretty strong within the next couple of years. And, again, trying to just continue to build it and make sure that the girls that are in the building that are coming out and playing, and we're just going to continue to work and try to be as successful as we can.
What's the schedule around Thanksgiving?
We go to Pickett County for Thanksgiving, and then our first home game is the 28th against Pope John Paul. So we come back from this little break that we have as far as being in the school building. We'll still be working, of course, and we have Pope John Paul on the 28th at home.
Any difference that we have a full week of Thanksgiving break? It doesn't affect you guys much, does it?
No, sir. We're still in there working, and we're just trying to improve every day, just get a little bit more extra free time, once you're not on the court.
Coach, always a pleasure, and we'll be talking to you in a couple of weeks. We'll have a few games to talk about, too.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all's time. Appreciate what y'all do for these girls.
Yes, sir. Good luck to Coach Carter there at Laverne. Our portion of this portion of the show is brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at craigstaxservice.com. When we return, I think we're going to talk a little football. Yes, we are. Oakland football here on the Coaches Show.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business.
Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
If you're a homeowner with a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply focuses on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in the box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, inviting you to stop by, visit, and enjoy the country.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed is also your place for local milk from the MTSU Dairy on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coach's Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Bud Morris, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Time to talk some Oakland football this morning. The head coach is joining us today, Kevin Creasy, and the Patriots winners last night by a final score of 56-0, 49-0 halftime lead over the Riverdale Warriors, and quarterfinal win means you're in the semifinals. And Coach, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Big win, obviously. They all always are big wins, but I'm going to talk about this more in just a moment. But 10 semifinal appearances, that's pretty spectacular.
Yep, you've had a good year whenever you get to practice on Thanksgiving, and our guys, have been really fortunate. Our fan base has been really fortunate to get to experience that over the last decade, and hopefully we can have another good performance next Friday.
Well, we'll go ahead and kind of mention this part because you've kind of had Week 11, Battle of the Borough regular season was the final game of the season. There was a lot of build up to that game. That was a game that was at your place. Lost that game by 1. Since then, it seems like your team has been laser focused, and the word revenge has been thrown out there a lot. Is that the proper word? What has led to the focus that your team has had, do you think?
We've said from the get-go that we were going to play Riverdale twice if things shook out like they're supposed to. So, I don't know that revenge is exactly the word I'd use. I think we've always known that we're going to play them twice. Before the game, we said that we should play them twice, and unfortunately we didn't win the first one. We felt like we should have won it, and we came up short, and I think that worked out actually to our benefit. Even though we've been having to go on the road, I think it definitely got our guys' attention and let them know that, if you don't show up for 48 minutes, you just show up for 24 minutes, that you could take a L, and we could have done the same thing against Gallatin, could have done the same thing against Mount Juliet, and luckily our guys have been laser focused and had a great week of preparation. Definitely wanted to have a better performance than we did the first time we played them.
Well, out of the gate, a lot of people as well, and when I say people, let me just talk about this part of it too. There was more conversation about this game and this playoff game than I remember about really any football game, maybe in the last 5-6 years. And you've been to 3 championships in a row. It was really interesting.
No, I agree with you. There's been a lot of chatter. There's been a lot of talk, been a lot of stuff on social media. But at the same time, I think it's great for our community to kind of get the two old schools back being competitive with each other, both of them being good. It should be Oakland, Riverdale in the third round. It's just not the same, with a, out-of-county team or something. But playing for all the marbles to make it to Thanksgiving weekend, that's the way it ought to be. Coach Kreisky and myself, we talked about it before the game. It's a great environment. The two, old Murfreesboro schools playing together, the third weekend of the playoffs is the way it's supposed to be. So it was an electric atmosphere, and the heated rivalry was definitely a heated rivalry. And like I said, it's good that when both of us are pretty good.
Well, right out of the gate, the football is fumbled. You get the short field score. In fact, 4 turnovers, and you take advantage of Riverdale's 4 turnovers. There was a block punt. You turn that into points. I know that that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you want to do, but you actually did that last night, and that certainly obviously helped you win the football game convincingly.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit's got to be given to Coach Watson, who, does our defense. I thought he had a great plan and got the guys prepared for all the different things they did to us the first time. They say it's hard to beat a team twice in 1 year, but usually in this rivalry, whoever wins the regular season wins the playoff game. But again, we felt like there were some real bad things that went against us the first time we played, and got the kind of momentum rolling in their direction, and I felt like the momentum was rolling our direction all night last night. And like I said, a lot of credit's given to our players that executed a great game plan, and then we've got a young special teams coordinator, Coach Marcus Bryson from Chevrolet, has come over and helped us with our kick game and put in that punt block, and you talk about the fastest thing that changes a ball game is a block kick, and so blocking that punt, setting up our third touchdown, I think that was huge.
Let's see, you have only allowed 5 points in 3 games against opponents. The 2 in last week's game
was a safety. Yeah. That really is not on the defense.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty remarkable. And Jacob did exactly what he needed to do last week, in that situation. So, I just wanted to make sure that we give that defense of yours props like they deserve. Corey Smith was just crazy good last night, had a sack, 2 fumble recoveries. Carlos Swader also had a fumble recovery last night in the game too.
Yeah. Like I said, I think our guys were just swarming to the football, being ball hawks, and our guys were everywhere. Didn't give them a lot of time to execute their offense. I thought we did a good job of taking away some of their best receivers. You look at their offense all year, it's one of the most dynamic and explosive offenses in the state. And, they're getting shut out. And I think it was a real statement game for our defense.
Yeah, certainly Brock Montgomery and Keyshawn Williams, their 2 leading receivers, both with a ton of yards on the season, only had 18 combined last night. Quarterback threw for 111 yards, but wasn't really necessarily maybe you can describe it, not a huge pass rush or rush on the quarterback, but he certainly felt the pressure all night, and that seemed to be one of the things that you wanted to do, make him feel like he didn't have a lot of time to sit back there and throw.
Yeah. Corey Smith, when you're rushing a guy like Corey Smith, it's like rushing 2 or 3 guys, and I thought Dre Odom had another good game. He's one of our quick D linemen. Only having to rush 3 or 4 and then being able to drop a lot of guys into coverage, I think that's good, but also giving different looks. I thought we mixed up the coverages a lot, definitely didn't show everything that we could have done the first time we played. But at the same time, this one was for all the marbles, so we kind of emptied our toolbox and did a lot of different things. And like I said, the biggest thing wasn't what we did. It's who we did it with and how we did it. I think our guys were embarrassed, you know. That doesn't happen a lot of times with teenagers. Sometimes they just make an excuse or, you know, find a way out. But our guys were embarrassed. They took ownership of the loss. You know, they knew that there was a 69-game win streak at home, that they let everybody down. And, you know, they wanted to get that bad feeling out of their system. And like I said, they did it last night and, you know, did it for 4 quarters.
You know, in life, there are many opportunities when things like that happen to you. You don't have an opportunity to rectify it, but you did, and you were able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It was huge. You know, you definitely want to win your last game, and then if you're playing your rival, you definitely want to win as many of them as you can. You know, you'd rather win them all, but if you're going to win one, you better win in the playoffs or you'll be taking up your stuff on Monday.
Kevin Creasy joining us, talking Oakland football this morning. On the offensive side of the ball, DeJuan Morris, Mr. Football semifinalist, 18 carries, 174 yards, 5 touchdowns, all in the first half. So he definitely got his work in and plus some, but all in the first half. You led 49-0 at halftime. That kid deserves all the accolades he gets because he's a workhorse, isn't he?
He is. You know, he did a great job. I thought scoring 5 touchdowns in a half is, you know, unprecedented. I think that's the most touchdowns scored against a top 10 team in the third round or further in the playoffs in the history of the playoffs. So, you know, for a half of football, playing a top 10 opponent, you know, that's impressive numbers, but he's the first to give all the credit to, you know, our H-backs, our tight ends, our linemen. Yeah. He knows that they did a good job of blocking for him. And like I said, they all had a great week of practice.
Ashton Jones as well, really good night as well. And, you know, if he doesn't have the ball and he's in there, he's blocking. Deuce Hewitt, I mentioned him off the air. I thought your quarterbacks played very well last night, and that's starting to gel. I know it's taken a little time. You've had some injuries and things, but that 1-2 coming in and out, I mean, that's really starting to come together here in the playoffs as it should.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, the best thing about rotating both quarterbacks is that in practice they're competing with each other. They're making each other better. And then, of course, they have to prepare like they're the starter. So you're working 2 quarterbacks, and, you know, it benefits the whole team. And it makes it a little, you know, easier to call some plays that are risky, you know, because you're not as worried about getting your one quarterback hurt because you got 2 of them. So definitely going to pay, you know, dividends throughout the rest of the season. And like I said, it's worked out well for us. And, you know, like I said, those 2 are competitors, and they are going to continue to compete and get each other better.
Well, a few little tidbits from last night's game as well. Of course, it was the 7th time that Oakland and Riverdale have played each other in the playoffs, and since in school history, the first time was in 1998, and that was actually the only time before last night that the team that won the regular season did not win the playoff game, and that one wound up the same. Riverdale won the regular season. Oakland won the quarterfinal game. That happened in 98, happened last night. And Battle of the Borough record went down last night. Riverdale had the record of largest shutout. It was 49-0 by the team from 1994.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think the class of 94 for Riverdale was actually at that game last night. I think they brought in a bunch of the alumni and all that. So it's good to break that record for sure.
Well, Coach, your attention turns to Bradley Central, of course, and it's the first time in a long time we're not talking about heading to Maryville. Any thoughts on new blood, planning to play somebody new here in this semifinal game?
You know, I just know that Bradley has a heck of a team, you know, because we saw what they've done to Maryville, and we got a lot of respect for Maryville. So anybody that can handle Maryville the way they did, they better get your attention. I know they got a lot of Division I players on their team. I know that they've gone undefeated, which we know how tough that is. So a lot of credit's got to be given to those guys. They got a heck of a head coach and do a really good job. Just hadn't been down there, so it's going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a packed house. And, this type of year, this time of year is just, for all the marbles. So we expect a rowdy crowd and a hostile environment, but, we're kind of getting used to that.
Well, if you're an Oakland Patriot football fan, you're also getting used to this semifinal thing. It's been quite the run, 10 years in a row. That may be the longest streak now. I'm not sure. Maryville had it before, 22 years, and now this is 10 years. This is also 29 out of the last 30 years that a Rutherford County team has played in a semifinal game, which is just astounding. That goes back to 1993. Coach, you mentioned a few things about Bradley Central. They're solid. They're going to be a challenge, aren't they?
Oh yeah, no doubt. They're going to be the most talented team we've seen this year, and that includes Center Grove out of Indiana. So we've got our hands full. There's no doubt. I know they got a ton of talented players. We haven't really watched any tape on them or anything. We just know the newspaper clippings and that sort of stuff that we hear about, and they're really talented. And so we're going to have our hands full. It's tough to go on the road, in the playoffs and win, but I think this group, if we could maintain our focus and come in, kind of with that burning desire like we had this week, we'll be all right. We don't want to be like it was when I first got here, happy just to beat the team in the county and then you let down the next week. We've got to make sure we understand what's at stake, and hopefully we'll have 2 more games left.
Well, you've been able to push past that very successfully as well, and I guess the message will be we can't have spent all of our energy and focus on winning last night against Riverdale, because there's still a mission. You still have goals to accomplish.
Right. And that's the big thing that we noticed is that some people just get happy, making it to the playoffs or getting to the third round or winning the region. Our goals go way beyond that, and I think that's kind of what our guys kind of portrayed last night is, look, this thing is not went our way week 10, but we're in control of our own destiny, and we plan on trying to rectify some wrongs from week 10.
Well, it's been kind of a tradition, Thanksgiving dinner and football practice, and day after a little trip somewhere to East Tennessee every other year at least.
Yep.
And Coach, congrats on the win, and we'll see what Bradley has in store. Hopefully it's grass field and all that, right? I have no idea.
I have no clue.
I guess you're going to watch a lot of film this weekend.
Yeah, I've got a couple days to catch up and find out.
All right, and a little easier, I guess, practice since we got a whole week off. That's something different, too.
I don't know if that's easier or not.
Maybe not.
I'm kind of a routine guy, so
I know.
I'm not really a big fan of being off.
Yeah, well, I know you'll figure it out. Coach, appreciate it. Again, congrats.
All right, thanks.
That's Kevin Creasy joining us on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Back on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Prentice Alsop Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Alsop Heating and Air online at PrenticeAlsop.com. Time to talk some Oakland Lady Patriot basketball. Jessica Southern joins us here this morning, and Coach, it's hard to believe basketball season is here, isn't it?
It got here fast. It seemed like
I feel like it's like the fall kind of goes by kind of slow just because we're not doing the fun stuff, conditioning and things like that. And then I feel like the last few weeks of October flew by, and then now we're already 2 weeks into November.
I'm not sure what it is, but you get into school and then all of a sudden basketball just kind of seems to roar right on in. I don't know how it is for you, and fall sports I guess are different than winter sports, but I mean you don't get much time to settle in before basketball is just really right upon you, I guess.
Yes, for sure. I feel like it'll be here and then it'll be over, and then the school year's almost over. Time flies.
Yeah. Well, kind of talk to us about how the practice pretty much is done. I mean, you don't get a whole lot of time to practice and get things going, do you?
No. Once it's here, and it's kind of off to the races as far as like preparation. Trying to put stuff into play and playing with combinations and figuring out what we want to do. Through our scrimmages. Lead us right into season. We always talk about that, or different people, other coaches are like, you only get like 2 weeks. And I was like, well, technically 3 weeks because, we don't have to play Hall of Fame week. Whereas everybody else, spring sports, fall sports, get 4 weeks, 6 weeks, to practice. And we're at it from there.
That's a little unfortunate, isn't it? I'm not exactly sure why that is. And I mean, it is what it is. You can't really do anything about it. But it's really unfortunate, I think.
I think so too. But our season is long. So, early stages, are still learning stages, growing stages where we're able to still work on things and work through things, that may hurt us in the beginning or things that we still need to work on.
Well, you've got a game or two under your belt and the season here upon us. Kind of tell us about the 2023-24 Lady Patriots. Bring some experience back, and some holes to fill. I guess you're just like everybody else.
Yes, I think so. We returned several players that played big minutes for us last year. Two of our seniors, Khalees Bass and Alana Poole. We also have some relief minutes, people that played relief minutes for us that, will be potentially starting or giving us bigger minutes than they did last season. And we also have a good group of juniors and sophomores that maybe not played a ton last year or saw a lot of minutes, but I think will be big for us going into this season.
Well, as I guess kind of putting together a group that has some experience, but, not as much time together with, I guess, the quote unquote newbies, it takes a little time to mesh together and work together too, doesn't it?
Yes, for sure. That's something that we've been talking about over the last few weeks. We were plagued with injuries this summer, and we're almost back to healthy with just an exception of a few weeks or so for, to have everybody back. But this summer it was kind of like a swap kind of deal with like our spring practice, which we do our spring practice late. So it leads into summer versus doing it like in April. We had a few people that were out then, and we got one or two back. So like me and you came back, but then we lost these two the rest of summer. So even this summer, we weren't able to really play with combinations. So like on top of that, meshing together, everybody kind of figuring out their roles. Every team is different, even though, I might have started and played and like, this is what I, did last year. But now, those seniors are gone. My role is a little different. And if I didn't play, figuring out, how they can best help us on the floor and what they can do for us and how we all mesh together overall.
Basketball is just so interesting when you try to bring about that team chemistry or cohesiveness.
Yes, that's kind of goes along with us talking about the practice as far as like not having as much time as the other sports, but really using our scrimmages and our early games to kind of figure out what each player does well for us and like what their role is and what they bring to our team and trying to get the best out of that, or using their strengths, putting them in places where they can really utilize those things, but also develop their weaknesses.
Does the spring and summer, how does that work? I mean, do you try to use that time to help bring that cohesiveness and working together? Does that really help?
I think so. Just with the younger kids, those that like I was saying, that might have played last year, but we'll play more this year, or those that played minimal minutes, are going to play bigger minutes, but really just playing with combinations and, seeing what we want to do, or, if we're able to play a certain defense or run certain offenses or, anything like that. Just kind of playing with things. So I see summer as like an opportunity to practice and like kind of put your practice into action. Not necessarily like, we went, we played 6 days, we played 14 games, we won, 12 of the 14, like I'm not really worried about wins, just really worried about, figuring out who can do what for us. So going into practice, having a better idea of that, which for us this season was a little different with the several injuries that we had over the summer.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because I mean, injuries are part of the game, obviously, but I'm not sure. You kind of seem to have had maybe more than your fair share of that for the Lady Patriot team.
Yes. So over the last few years, we have had several ACLs and things which shifted people in different positions, but we've had some people step up over the years along the way, to fill those gaps, which also moving forward helps us in the long run, because, somebody that wouldn't have played, many games, early, got in several games, played more minutes than expected, which helped us in the end. And, the following year, especially if they were underclassmen. So those are things that are inevitable, and you just try to do your best to, deal with it and make changes and, adapt, to the adversity, that is. And also just making sure that those that are injured, keeping them up and making sure, that they're still involved, and like how they can still contribute to our team and by being encouraging and still being leaders if they aren't on the floor for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's finding the silver lining, but you definitely have had to just kind of shuffle around pieces on the chessboard, and I'm sure you've gotten really good at that in your short tenure there at Oakland, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Jessica Southard is joining us here today as we talk about the Oakland Lady Patriots basketball team. You've kind of talked a little bit about some of the pieces. Kind of introduce anybody who you'd like to, and kind of talk about your team here this year.
All right, we have 4 seniors. Like I said, Alana and Khalees are the ones that started and played most of the year, with those 3 that graduated last year, my 23s. We've got 2 posts, CP, Chloe, and Azaria, that played off the bench and started some games pending who we were playing. So those 4 seniors will be big for us this year. And then our junior class, we have several in that class, again, that played some minimal minutes, played a lot. I think they'll help us. And we have 2 sophomores as well that didn't really play a whole lot, but will be impactful for us this year, just based on the positions and like the changes that we'll be making throughout our offense.
I noticed, looking up and down your schedule, you've got Coffee County on there a couple of times, and they have been in the thick of it here the last number of years. A very good Cookeville team. They have made some deep runs. Your schedule between now and the time district starts in early January, you've got some really, really tough opponents that you're going to be challenged with throughout the early part of your season here, it looks like.
Yes, that's something that, like, since I've been here as an assistant, like when I first came on, with Shelby, I want to say, I think it was post-COVID year when we had the rule where we couldn't play at home if we weren't in school. So we were closed for sickness on the account of, bus drivers or, things like that. We picked up Bradley, and somebody was like, "You're going to Bradley? Like, why are you going to Bradley? Like, what are you doing?" And then there was another date, maybe the week before, 2 weeks after that, kind of the same similar situation to where, like, I think who we were supposed to play was quarantined, and we ended up going to Upperman. And that was another year that Upperman made a state run. It's like, what are you doing going to Upperman? Like, don't you want to play somebody else? But I think, obviously you want to win, but you also want to grow and, prepare for the games that really matter when it comes, to district play. Everybody talks about, preparation and experience. And I've been a part of teams like as a player and a coach to where, like, we weren't really pushed. So then when we got pushed when it mattered, we kind of folded late or fell to the pressure because no one's pressed us or any of those things. So I believe, like, with our schedule, this gives us the opportunity to be tested in many areas, as well as seeing opponents that we may see deep into the run if we make that run as far as, some state, region, things like that.
Sure. Well, I know we're going to have some time to kind of talk about Christmas tournaments and things of that nature. And then, of course, as we get deeper into after Christmas, the district slate that's coming up. But you've got several games here in November, and you're going to kind of be on the road here for a little bit. And, you've got a couple of trips to Coffee County and Eazell before you're home finally on the 28th with Green Hill and Beach, and then you get that Upperman and York Institute circuit going in early December. So I think that's kind of the schedule.
I don't know how we ended up going to the Plateau twice in the same week, but we did. We are.
That's going to be a fun trip there for you. But Coach, I appreciate you spending a little time with us here today, and understand you've got is it a big birthday, or is it just like just a year turn here?
Kind of a big birthday, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll just go. We'll leave it at that. But happy birthday, I guess.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Jessica Southern joining us here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by JHA Company. That's Josh Houston and Associates. Jewelry, letter jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and much more online at jhacompany.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Rayburn Insurance in Smyrna.
Come see me, Rick Hall, at Rayburn Insurance in downtown Smyrna today.
Online at rayburn.net.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here, and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
One Hot and Ready Classic. We actually changed it with...
What? You've changed, Little Caesars. You've changed! You've changed! Ah! Tell me why.
It tastes even better because we added 33% more pepperoni.
Give me one of those.
Little Caesars Pizza in Murfreesboro. 4 locations: Memorial Boulevard, South Rutherford Boulevard, Old Ford Parkway, and Warrior Drive.
Walk in and walk out with the new Hot and Ready Classic with 33% more pepperoni.
Pizza.
You've seen the ads out there, companies wanting to buy your home. But why sell yourself short when you can get fair market value? I'm Lisa Patton. If you have an estate to settle or a home to sell, call Parks Auction. We'll work with you to sell your home or property in any condition with no costly repairs on your timeline. Why accept one offer when you can have multiple? You need Parks Auction. We look out for your best interest. Call Parks Auction today. We handle everything.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment.
Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help.
Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Back here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Dan France Concrete, licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. It's time to talk some Blackman Lady Blaze hoops. Jennifer Grandstaff, the head coach, joining us here this morning. And Jennifer, we were talking just briefly right before we went on, and it's just amazing. It seems like we just got through talking, about tournament basketball, and here we are talking about the start of the season again.
I know it. Some days it seems like it's taken forever to get back to this point, and then some days you're like, gosh, got here too quick. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but needless to say, it's here, and we got to be ready for it. We don't really have a choice anymore.
Yeah, some teams have already started, and your season starts today, I guess, right?
It does. Yes, we travel to Tullahoma. We play Tullahoma at 4:30 at their place in a Hall of Fame game Saturday.
Hall of Fame. These people are still confused about these Hall of Fame deals, but these are games, right?
Right. These are actual, regular season games. A lot of people say you don't have to count it on your record, but win or lose, if we're playing a real game, I think, we'll treat it as a real game and count it as a real game. So, yeah, we open up Saturday, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, let's talk about the Lady Blaze. When you trot out, are we going to know the majority of the Lady Blaze that are out there from the team returning from this year from last?
Wow, we lost an awful lot. Lost 4 really valuable seniors, produced a lot of points, did a great job defensively for us. So we are really still trying to find our identity and, trying to see who's going to be able to fill in certain spots. So, it's going to be interesting for the first probably month of basketball for the Lady Blaze. We've got some injuries right now that are definitely going to affect us quite a bit. So we gotta get through those, and then hopefully by the first of the year we're gonna know who we are and what our identity is, and just improve from there.
So I guess what you're kind of saying is you've got some shoes to fill, and you've got to find out how those are going to be filled. You're probably going to be playing around with your lineup quite a bit, huh?
Definitely. We lost Munson, just a great scorer for us, great shooter. We lost Dan Angela Wilson, just a lot of grit and toughness, and Lauren Smith in the post, and then we brought a shooter off the bench, lovely Alexander. So, we lost a lot. So that's 4 big positions. We're trying to see who can fill those positions. So we're juggling the lineup around. We're, looking at different things offensively, just trying to see what's going to fit our personnel the best for us for what we feel our strengths are on that given night. So yeah, it's a lot of trial and error right now, to say the least.
Yeah, well, you do bring back some experience. You're going to have, I know you mentioned some injuries, but tell me about some of that experience that you're going to have to lean on, I guess, that's coming back.
Well, definitely our the young lady that keeps the ball in her hands all the time, and everything pretty much will run through her. Kaylin Flowers. Unfortunately, she broke her hand Saturday in a play day, so that's really going to hamper us quite a bit. Not real sure about the recovery time. She's in a cast now. She goes back in 2 weeks. So with that being said, that definitely has kind of got us, a little confused offensively about what we're going to need to do in order to try to put our players in the best position to be successful. So when I say we're juggling things around, I mean, we are really literally juggling things around. Anytime you see an injury like that with a player of that caliber, it just is definitely going to hamper us and cause us, some issues. So that's she's been a 2-year starter, be a 3-year starter for us, played significant minutes as a freshman. So, we hate that that's happened. But again, we're trying to turn the page and figure out what's next. Ayanna Dunbar, our post player, she's returning. She'll be the 5 player for us this year. Had a great summer. Both her and Kaylin both had a great summer. Kaylin signed with Florida Gulf Coast early, and then Ayanna Dunbar signed with Michigan early. So, we need a lot out of Ayanna. We need a lot on the boards. We need a lot in the scoring position. She's a great leader for us, a great communicator for us. We just got to make sure we get a lot of productivity out of her when she's on the floor. Another returning starter last year was Lyric Maston. She's a junior this year, played the off guard for us, put her at the point spot when Flowers got hurt last season. So obviously, her role is going to change from what we've been doing the past 3 weeks to what we're doing now. We're going to have to slide her into the 1 slot, and the offense is going to have to run through her as well. She did a great job handling the pressure for us last year when she got moved into that position. So, we know Lyric's very capable of it, but it's just new right now for us. The other starter we have is Tashana Moore. She played significant minutes late in the tournament for us. Just really improved. Got a lot more confidence as the season progressed last year, and had a little injury in May and June, but she's at full speed, and she's just strong and explosive and a great defender, and we're hoping she can put some points on the board for us as well. And then we've got that. We're looking at several different players, and we look. Do we go big? Do we go small? It's just going to be kind of a game-to-game decision, kind of based on how our skill progression's improved over the course of the year. That we're just trying to fill those other couple spots right now. But again, we got Katie Stevens that's been in our program for 3 years. Mariah O'Corey, which is about a 6'1" sophomore for us that shows us some bright spots that we hope that she will continue to progress. Amir Herring, she was injured with an ACL last year. She was a freshman. She'll be a sophomore this year. We're hoping that, we can, get her to develop quickly because, we're screaming in some guard spots right now. We need to answer some holes for us. Trinity Chisholm was on our team last year, and we're looking to hopefully get her some minutes and hoping she can answer the call and be able to play their role to the best of their ability. So, just a lot of question marks right now for us offensively. So we'll just have to see how the season progresses.
Jennifer Grandstaff joining us this morning, the Lady Blaze head coach, and here on the Coaches Show. Kaylin, boy, she last year was snake bitten, and again this year, but Lyric did really fill in nicely. But she really kind of flourishes in that 2 spot, and it's almost like a bridled horse versus being able to just really run free in the 2. Yeah. So I know that's where you like to have her best, Yeah. And so, but at least it's early on in the season. So at least I guess if there's a good time, that's the best time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it is. It was a tough situation last year. We lost her, I think it was mid-January, and didn't get her back till the tournament started. So that was huge for us. Kaylin's injury, yeah, it is. It's early. Hopefully, it won't be a too long of a recovery for her because she is just so valuable to our program. So, but that's just part of the game. Injuries, unfortunately, are a big part of any sports anymore, and it just makes it tough when you lose a valuable player like that. But I think we'll go through some hard times, some growing pains, but I'd rather be going through the growing pains in November than going through the growing pains in February. So Hopefully it makes us better in the long run.
Well, Jennifer, I was looking at your schedule and just the quality of teams that you're playing. I guess this is what you get for, coming off a recent state championship and being a deep tournament team for the past number of years, because you really have had to, I guess, schedule this tough.
It wasn't by choice, let me tell you. I mean, I knew what we lost last year, and it's just hard to schedule games. I mean, our program's had a lot of success winning the state championship 3 years ago and being, in the state tournament the past 2 years. I think people just think you're the same basketball team. And, we still have a lot of competitive players, but obviously we're not the same team right now that we've been. But it makes scheduling tough. And if you look at our schedule, it's extremely challenging all the way up until, our district play. I mean, every game we're playing a quality opponent, a lot of skilled players on the roster. We've got to execute. We've just got to be locked in on what our game plan is offensively and defensively, and hopefully we're able to put it together a solid performance on the nights that we perform. But it is very challenging as I sit here and look at it. I look at it every day, I think, right now.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Overwhelmed, but
and I've heard some coaches talking as well with the smaller districts that we have as well, that just leaves the door open for having the challenge of finding so many games, because you don't start district play until the second week of January, and then there's so many games to try to find and schedule. It's just really difficult, I would think.
Oh, it's been extremely difficult, and we would love to have picked up a couple more games, but it's just hard to find. Yeah. Our schedule's tough enough as it is, and it's just hard to it's just hard. It was really hard for us to schedule games this year. So, it is what it is, and like I said, we've got to be ready for the challenge early.
Well, it looks like you've got mostly in-state things. You're going to be going to Rockvale right before Christmas, and Lebanon, I think they've got a pre-Christmas. We'll talk more about that in a few weeks, but kind of staying around home. So looks like you've got plenty of places for folks to see the Lady Blaze play. Right.
We open up, we play obviously this Saturday, and then we go to Franklin on Thanksgiving. We play two quality teams. We play Wesleyan, Georgia on Monday, and then Beach on Tuesday. And Wesleyan, Georgia is, I don't know if you remember Ellen Riggins from Oakland. I coached back in the day. She is actually, that's her first head coaching job. So she's at Wesleyan, Georgia. It's a team that's won numerous state championships. She's got 3 talented players on her roster. So that's going to be a big challenge for us Monday night. And then like you said, it just continues pre-Christmas, after Christmas, all the way up until district play.
Well, Coach, it was good to catch up with you, and you'll have a few games under your belt by the next time we talk. And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving and a good tip-off to the season here.
All right, Brian. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach. That's Jennifer Grandstaff joining us here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, an independent agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance since 1973. Find out more at rayburn.net.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. What are some of the advantages that Carpets by Osborne has?
Being a family business and being locally owned and operated, we do free estimates. We have our own subcontractors that work for our business. We will come out, look at your floor covering. Throughout the whole process, you deal with an individual. You're not passed off to different contractors. We handle it from start to finish.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. Well, here I am back after a little absence of a couple of coaches. And pleased to announce that I am going to be talking to Bill Hockenberry, the head coach of the Lady Rockets of Rockville. And, Bill, it is, I could say, you know, we're looking forward to the season, but the season's already started for you particularly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're right into it. Already got 2 games under our belts. Really excited to get the season started that we did this past week. 2 really good opponents, and really excited to get the season going.
Well, let's talk a little bit about we'll talk about those 2 games in just a minute, but off to a good start. But you've had to replace a few people. You lost some pretty good players from last year, and you've got a new crew, but you do have some people that are coming back that are very important to the Rockville Lady Rockets. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, John, absolutely. You know, we graduated that good senior class last year. Tony Davis, a 1,000-point scorer who's playing volleyball at Bethel University. We also lost Kamariana Tavares, big center for us, who's the first Rockville Division I signee. She's playing for Alabama State this year. And then we lost, you know, Annabelle Marlin, who'd been with us for 4 years. And so we had some pieces that we needed to replace. But this year, you know, this group is a really special group also, and it's led by Kamaria Murray, who is, you know, she's going to be a 4-year starter for us. She's really zeroing in on the 1,000-point mark, and she's closing in on 500 rebounds and 300 assists. And is a really special player and has really had a really good start to the season for us. And then we have another, you know, our senior class was 60 this year. You know, with, you know, Grace Ushery, who got to play a lot last year, is coming back, has been a big piece. She's really moved the ball well for us, brings length and size in there. We also have Talia Grace, another senior that we had that stepped up this year and got some minutes, and really has brought in some vocal leadership to our team, which is what we've really needed. She brings a great energy every day and in every single game. I'm really glad to get back senior Maritza Wright, who played really good in the Eagle game, which we'll get to in a minute. She's tore both of her ACLs, and I'm super, super proud of her coming back and being able to give us what she's given us. And then we also have Isabel Newcomb, another senior who's had a big 3 against Ravenwood the other night, and Courtney James. Our senior class has really set the tone for what we're expecting this year. And then we also have some newcomers, you know, and some that have played a little bit. Aiden Wilkerson is a junior, averaged 8.5 points a game last year, and we're expecting her to even take a bigger step. And she's played really well in the first couple of games. And, you know, we have a really good freshman class, which I'll get into that here in a little bit.
You know, I want to go back to Murray just a little bit because senior now, seems like she's been with the program forever and really played as a freshman. But what I love about her, she is always the same, regardless win, lose, tough game, close game, a game that's out of reach or a game that you're well in control of. She never changes. She's always dedicated and plays the same every time she steps on the floor.
Yeah, yes, she is, John. Kamara Murray, yeah, she's just I call her the quiet leader. She's really been leading us for 4 years, you know, and the way she does it is she's gotten more vocal as she's gotten older, but she likes to play, do the talking, and she likes to stay calm, and no matter what the situation is, she's always calm. I feel like that she is a Division I player. I know we're trying to get on that, and I know some Division I schools have contacted me. But I feel like by the time she's done this year, that she will be a Division I signee somewhere.
I always felt like she played several positions, but she never really got to play her true position. And what is her true position?
Well, I think this year she's finally being able to play in her natural position. I call her a point forward, and that's what a lot of the college coaches talk to me about. She's able to get in scoring positions this year because of somebody we're going to talk about in a minute, Jade Watson, freshman point guard. So we're able to get Kamaria in positions to score the basketball, which in the past 3 years she's had to be our point guard because we didn't have a ton of other options she was a good ball handler, good size. And you're finally able to see Kamaria at her full potential this year. And, she started the season off with 2 19-point games back-to-back.
I think sometimes it seemed like she led the team in rebounding. I mean, from the point guard position. She knows how to get underneath the basket and use her body and put up layup after layup, and that's what's impressed me about her. Wright is a story in itself. 2 torn ACLs, an amazing story really to be out there, and I know you're glad that she's out and able to play. Yeah, she's a big part of our team, and honestly, it's a piece that we missed the 2 years that she tore the ACLs because she brings such scoring, such a knack for winning games. She has, I call it the Chi-Town swag. She's from Chicago, and I love it. And, her sister Isabella is also a big piece of our team. And then they get to play together this, Marissa's senior year has been it's really a blessing. And the Wright family means a lot to me. I love that, love them to death. Marissa didn't have to come back on the second ACL that she did. I am super proud of her. She's going to have an amazing year, and she's a big part of our team this year. All right. Talking to Bill Hockenberry, the head coach of the Rockville Lady Rockets. Let's talk about some games. You've got 2 in, and tell us about the first one. That's a rivalry. I guess I hate to use the word rivalry because you haven't really, I think it's it's 2 storied history programs going back all the way to early 1900s kind of but the Eagleville Eagles and Rockville Rockets, and you played them to start the season. And it's a great thing, every time we get to play Eagleville, the communities have both come out, and we had a packed house on Tuesday night. We had a pretty good crowd for even our JV game the other night, and it was a great atmosphere. Eagleville played really well. I was really proud of our girls. There's always some jitters coming out, starting the game, and some of our kids got in some foul trouble. And we, in the first half, we had some other people step up and really got us going. I thought our freshman Jade Watson came out in the third quarter where she got a couple of fouls. Which, by the way, Brian, she's already got an offer from Lipscomb University. Today she's on an unofficial visit at Belmont University. But she came out in the third quarter and scored 12 points for us. It's really kind of got us a little bit of a cushion. That let us kind of get to the end. We were up 17 with about 3 to go. And, we kind of let up a little bit. We missed a few free throws, had a couple turnovers, and that's, when you win that kind of game against a good, well-coached team like Eagleville, which, I had preached the whole week that they're going to play 32 minutes no matter what. We were able to use that as motivation Wednesday and then Thursday in our game against Ravenwood to play the whole 32 minutes. You can't just play 30 and expect you're going to win games. But I want to say this too, John. I was really pleased with how Eagleville played. They have a really good team this year. Chris Lynch does a really good job. They're a senior-laden team. I feel like if they stay together, they have a real good shot to be in the Class Single A state tournament this year. We talk about your next game now. Tell us a little bit about that one. Yeah, Ravenwood came in, coming off of they had scored
I think they beat Mount Juliet 78-52 on Tuesday night. So we had our work cut out to get the preparation done, and we had really our entire team. We played 15 players in that game, and every one of them contributed a ton to the victory. You know, Kamaria had her normal night, 19 points, 9 rebounds. We had a freshman, Haven Harris, who came in and hit 3 3-pointers and had 11 points. And really, you know, our freshman group, which I know I said I was going to talk about a little bit, has really picked us up our skill level and our energy in practice. Jade Watson, like I just mentioned her, Haven Harris, who had 11 points in the game against Ravenwood, 3 3-pointers. And then we have another freshman, Cadence Thomas, who you haven't heard the name yet, but you're going to get used to that name in the coming weeks. She hit a big 3 against Eagleville, and they're all 3 going to be able to really contribute and give us good things. Kyla Crawford, our big center, coming back this year. She's finally healthy and it's going to be a big piece for us this year. She had 8 points and about 6 rebounds against Ravenwood. And another new name that you may want to get used to this name, Toju Williams, a sophomore, 6'3" post player. You know, about a week ago in the first JV game we played this summer, or this preseason, scored 14 points, and since then hasn't looked back. I think she had 21 in the JV game against Ravenwood. And we can actually call it varsity too, because we feel like we have all varsity players. But then he got minutes in the varsity game, and he was a real big factor. And I think going forward, that's going to give us some size that we're going to need. We're able to, you know, play 10, 12, 13 kids a night on a given night, and
that's something you've kind of had to battle the last couple of years, because depth wasn't quite what it is evidently now, because you had some injuries, and the injuries are going to happen every year. It looks like you're like 10 or 12 deep.
We are, John, and that's the strength of our program this year, and it's really a testament to what the kids did in the off season. You know, we can put in 15 kids, you know, really any of them, and we feel like we're going to get good production from them. And we're versatile. Like I feel like in the last couple of years, you know, our rotation was a little bit shorter. You know, we talked about Kamaria, you know, having to run the point for us. There was times that we'd try to move her to the scoring position, which was best for us, but we might not have functioned as a team as good. So that's what we were limited on what we could do. The team this year, you know, we have so many different lineup options that we have, and can really, no matter what team we're playing, we can match up with whatever we need to do. We feel like in our philosophy, we dictate offensively and defensively what we want. And I feel like with what we have with these, you know, 12 to 15 kids, we're able to do that.
Well, Bill, tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up during the Thanksgiving week and the holidays.
We are off the Thanksgiving week, and we will be back the Tuesday after at home against Page. And then we will take the show on the road Friday night, December 1st, to Clarksville Northeast. We're looking forward to those matchups. We know Page is really solid. Randy Kaufman's their head coach, used to be at Riverdale. And actually coached a couple of our coaches at Rockville. He was actually Wendell Ingram's middle school basketball coach, believe it or not, and also was a coach at Riverdale with one of my assistants, Hope Henson, which I just wanted to mention real quick about my assistant coaches. I have a really good staff this year. We brought in a really good group of people that have been really, really good. Hope Henson, you know, came over from the middle school last year and brings a lot of energy and passion, and I love everything about her. Jasmine Smith, some of you remember her last year. She was at Siegel High School. Her maiden name was Hassel. She played at Wilson Central for Bud and Campbell Brandon, and then played at Georgia for Andy Landers and played 3 years in the WNBA. And brings a lot of that experience, and, you know, won 2 Miss Basketballs, and you know, between Hope and Jasmine, they've won 4 state championships. So that's really good to have on our staff. And then we have Perry Lyons, who is with us, and just a great addition. You know, he's also our head softball coach, does our strength and conditioning, and did a really good job of getting us ready to play this season, and I could not have asked for a better staff. We're looking forward to continuing on with our schedule this year. One other couple of notes, John, about our schedule coming up. December the 8th, we're going to host a game against Nolensville, and it will be the first ever Rockville Hall of Fame night. There has been a committee formed in the Rockville community through Mr. Crutchfield and Mr. Luker, and we have got some individuals that are going to be honored and inducted into the Hall of Fame. And also there have been 2 basketball teams that have made the state tournament at Rockville, the 1941 boys team and the 1962 girls team, and they're going to be inducted into the inaugural Rockville Hall of Fame night against Nolens.
All right, Bill, it seems everything's rocking and rolling at Rockville, right?
We are. We just got to keep getting better, keep pushing through.
All right, well, have a nice Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you in a couple of weeks here, and after a few more wins, maybe.
We hope so. We appreciate it, and thanks for everything y'all do.
All right, that's Bill Hockenberry, the head coach of the Lady Rockets, off to a 2-0 start. This portion of the show is brought to you by Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, an independent agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance since 1973. Find out more at rayburn.net. I believe it's time for the Siegel Stars, if I'm not incorrect, but we'll be joining, and that's going to be Danny Brewer joining us here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to the First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services. I'm Danny Brewer. I'm pleased to be joined by first-year Siegel girls basketball coach, Coach Raymond Shutt. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Danny. How are you?
I'm quite well, sir. So let's get a little introduction going on here. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Coach. Where are you from originally?
Yes, sir. So I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Been in Middle Tennessee about 10 years now. Married, 5 kids. First time head varsity coach. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Louisville, Kentucky. Now you're talking my language. I'm a huge horse racing guy. I'll be at Churchill Downs next Friday. God willing, all that kind of stuff. So where'd you go to high school in Louisville?
So I graduated from Portland Christian High School in Louisville.
Okay, very good. Okay, so what brought you to Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, so I played college basketball. If you remember Winston Bennett.
Yeah.
Played in Kentucky. I played for him at Mid-Continent University. My wife actually took a job, and we weren't married at the time, but she took a job in Murfreesboro. I moved back. She moved back to Louisville. We got married, had 1 kid, and then we had an opportunity to kind of come down here. I could teach down here. Just seemed to be a great place to raise a family. So here we are, and it's been amazing since then.
Winston Bennett. So did you go one-on-one with Winston when you was playing there?
Not. No, we never had a bad practice because 6'9", very intense, up in your face the whole practice. Guys brought energy every single day.
Yeah, because that guy, he could play now. I mean, I remember when he was at Kentucky. So Winston. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about Siegel. All right, so Siegel girls basketball. You've played a couple of games, right? So tell me a little bit about what you've done so far this year.
So we started with Laverne. Coach Carter had a really good team come in, and we got up early on them, and they just kept kind of plucking away. I think it was a 7-point game in the third quarter. We were able to stretch it out and win that one on Tuesday. We played Gallatin Thursday, both also at home. Again, kind of same story. Got up 9-0 after one quarter. They just kind of kept fighting us. They hit a three. If you remember the Kawhi Leonard shot a couple years ago in the NBA playoffs where it hit the front of the rim, went up in the air about 6 feet, then went right back in to tie it to go to overtime, and we had been winning the whole time, the whole game. So that was really good because we had some adversity, and they never really flinched. They just kind of kept playing. I've got great senior leaders that they're coaching the team for me in the huddle. Where I'm talking with assistants, and we never flinch, and that's kind of what we talk about.
So 2-0 as a head coach. Congratulations on that. That's off to a pretty good start there.
An alternative.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that 2-0 start. Now, you were on staff last year at Siegel. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So how many years have you been on the Siegel girls basketball staff?
So I actually was on the boys basketball staff. This is the first time ever coaching girls.
Okay, so you were on the boys staff. Now, how many years have you been coaching on the boys staff at Siegel?
So I had just finished my second year. I've been in Middle Tennessee coaching. This is year 11. 1 year is middle school head coach at Whitworth Buchanan. Every other year I've been a boys assistant.
Okay, and where were you at before Siegel?
So I was at Rockville. We opened up Rockville before Siegel. I was at Whitworth Buchanan as head middle school coach. Spent some time at Laverne, and then I started at Warren County.
Okay, all right. Well, good for you, Coach. All right, so tell me a little bit about, you talked about your seniors. Tell me a little bit about some of your seniors that you have.
Absolutely. Love to. Seeker Grissom, she had 16 and 10 against Laverne. It was just, we kind of played through her. She's big physical post, really, really moves well. Undersized, but just understands positioning and just, we had 21 offensive rebounds between her and Fiona Mallory. Just really good understanding, when to post, when to screen, how to play the game of basketball. And Yanni Young is our shooter. She struggled the other night against Gallatin, but when I think it was overtime, I think it was 37-37 or 33-36 or something like that. And she was tied, and she made it 36-33. And she's just, there's really not a shot that she takes I don't like. Every time I think it's going to go in. Jasmine Sneed, who's committed to the University of Auburn at Montgomery for softball. She's been a 4-year starter for the Siegel girls basketball program. Leadership, it's going to guard the other team's best player, but she can also fill it up stat sheet. And McKenna Palmer, who provides minutes for us off the bench. She came in the other night against Laverne, got her and one. She's probably 6'2", 6'3", long. Runs the floor well. So those are our 4 seniors, and we rely on them heavily. This has been this is year 11 for me coaching, and I don't know, there may be one other year where we match the senior leadership that I have this year, and that's a credit to Shane Young, previous coach, and kind of the standard that he set. Because they came in, and there's definitely a base there, foundation.
So you mentioned you were coaching boys. And I know basketball is basketball, but what kind of transition has it been for you going from boys to girls, or is there any transition at all?
Just a little bit in just understanding, probably more conversations in the office than sort of, okay, I'm just not going to, I'm not Bob Knight, blow up in your face, even on the boys' side. But as far as, I'm not going to address, or we're going to address everything, but just sort of the manner is going to be a little bit different in the way I do it with girls. But as far as basketball, it's been very similar. Obviously not as much above the rim, and the game's not as fast. But like you said, basketball is basketball.
Then that was one of the points that I wanted to ask you about. Do you think that the girls' game is more fundamental because of the difference in the athleticism?
Yes, you can definitely say that. It's and like I said, Coach Shane Young did a really good job. I came in June, and they're knowing where help side is, gap, deny, whichever way you play it. They know how to talk. Everyone told me, hey, girls listen to you a lot better. So and I've had some really good, been able to coach some really good boys players, and I felt like they listened as well. So I don't know if I'd go that far. But I've enjoyed it. I've got a really good group that I've really enjoyed being around. So that's always, again, better than the alternative.
Okay, so I want to talk for a second about potentially a major score for you as far as your staff is concerned. Sean Middleton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to me about Coach Mid.
Yes, Coach Mid. So I got the job early June. He calls me late July. And first off, you're talking about a head coach and an assistant coach role, right? So he knows everything that I'm bad at, he's good at. Bookkeeping, TSAA stuff, and a guy that has coached girls, I have never, but as we talked about. So he has been an absolute godsend. As much as success he's had with girls basketball, with softball, I mean, I think he's coached many others. So I think when he came to Siegel, he was coaching football. I mean, the biggest thing that I enjoy about him is that there's no doubt that he wants to be there, and he gets excited, and the girls love being around him, and he can talk to any kid in school at Siegel, and they know Coach Mitt, and just the way they will relate with our girls and student body is just really phenomenal. And yeah, he called me late July, and when you want to talk about a burden being lifted off my shoulders, it was very much so.
Well, I think the good thing about Coach Mitt is it doesn't matter what sport it is. He can coach anything because he's just a great coach. Because I know when he was at Smyrna, he coached baseball, football, and basketball all in the same year. Yes. On all three sports, kind of deal. So I'm sure he is a tremendous asset to your staff.
Tremendous, absolutely.
Okay, Coach. So let's talk a little bit about being indoctrinated into Rutherford County. I know that you're familiar with it because of your boys' experience and all that kind of stuff. But on the girls' side, girls basketball has been really good in Rutherford County for a long time. So talk to me about being a head coach in this county.
Oh, it's extremely difficult. And I say that after only playing 2 games, but just looking around some of the scores, Coach, or just talk Coach Bug in there, and he's got the Riverdale girls competitive, and I'm good friends with Coach Hockenberry Rockville. I know they had a big win the other night against Ravenwood, and Coach Southern does a great job at Oakland. I know they lost some pieces, but she's going to definitely get them right. I mean, there's no, and obviously Blackman is really, really good, really talented, and Coach Grandstaff's been doing it a long time, but there's no sort of off night. That is for sure. It's a league that I know is heavily scouted. I know that every pass, every dribble, every play you try to run is going to be difficult. So we're up for the challenge. I want our girls up for the challenge, and that's kind of what I think they won 13 games last year, and we want to. The seniors have talked about. We that's great, and that was a really good year for Siegel girls basketball last year. But they want to build on that. And that's our goal, and it will not be easy in this county, and we know that, and but if it's easy, we don't want to be a part of it. We want to keep chasing, and we know we're going to hit some adversity, and that's really what I've been pleased with from game 1 to game 2, how both teams kind of come back. When we like I said earlier, we didn't flinch.
Coach, I think that you hit the nail on the head. The competitiveness. That makes it better, because then when you are achieving, it really means something, right?
Absolutely.
Coach, we appreciate your time. That's Raymond Shutt. He's doing some good things over there at Siegel. So if you want to see some good basketball, you go over to Siegel and you see those Lady Stars. Coach, we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck this year. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Carpets by Osborne, who would love to help you complete any job, whether residential or commercial. Carpet, tile, hardwood, vinyl, rugs, and more. Locally owned, online at carpetsbyosborne.com. I'm Danny Brewer. I am very pleased now to be joined by Eagleville girls head basketball coach Chris Lynch. Coach, how are we this morning?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you here. This kind of kicks off our Coaches Show. We're really excited about this time of year, kind of ending football, moving into transition into basketball. Tell me a little bit about what has happened so far, because y'all have played a couple games, right?
Right. We've played 2 games so far. One of the games was right down the road. It's been dubbed the Battle of Highway 99. I kind of look at it as the David and Goliath battle, but, that when you step up and play a really good 4A school, it really challenges your team. And we went in there and competed, end up losing 56-50. But, it was a really good game for us. They're very athletic. They're bigger than us. And so, it was a good challenge to start the season off and find some things that you really need to work on. And during that game, we had, some high spots and some good moments. Izzy Sawyer had a great game offensively and scored 20. And then Brindley Bain had 18, and they shot the ball really well. And some of the other girls, played some really good defense and some good floor leadership by our senior point guard, Eliza McLaren, and Shelby Mooneyham. She locks down the defense for us, had some good rebound and some good transition. It's a game that tries to get you going for the regular season. So that one was pretty good. And then on Thursday, we had Richland at home. And Richland is a really good program. We went on the road last year in the region and upset them at home at their place. So I knew they would come in, and this was their first game of the season. And, they have some really good players. And they have a Higgins girl that's about 6 foot and can score outside, inside. She hit a couple of 35-foot three-pointers, not an exaggeration. And she did it last year too. So we tried to cover her up. We did not have a great night offensively. Defensively, had a pretty good game. It was 43-34. So it was just a real close game. We did not shoot well. And, the I guess they call them Hall of Champions week or whatever it's considered. We had 2 really good opponents to get us going into the regular season. And those games count now, and we know that. So starting out 0-2 with, some high expectations on the season is kind of hard to take. But I don't feel like we played that bad. We didn't play great in either game. So we know we have a lot of work to do, and it's early in the season. So if you don't want to, be hitting your stride, now is a good time not to be hitting it. So Monday and Tuesday, we have 2 more home games. We have Santa Fe on Monday and Cascade on Tuesday, which will be, 2 pretty good games for us.
Let's rewind to that first game, Rockvale. That's the Battle of Highway 99. They've had a pretty doggone good girls program early, and that school's not that old, but they have established themselves as a good girls basketball program. I'm going to rewind. I'm an old Smyrna guy. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Way, way back, Eagleville and Smyrna had some battles. Smyrna was really good. Eagleville, Donnie Holland was the head coach there, and they had some good battles.
State runner-up, Coach Holland.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think that Coach Holland used those Smyrna games as building blocks for his team the same as maybe this Rockville game may be a building block for you as well when you're playing a big school like that? Like you said, when you think about it, you look at it on paper like, well, there's no way that Eagleville can compete, but you can.
Yeah, I think their enrollment's around 2,300, and we have 320. So, somebody said something about it being a rivalry, but I think you're going to have to win one in order for it to be a rivalry. So far, I think we've played them 4 times. We're 0-4, but all 4 have been really close, which, it says a lot for the girls that go out and compete.
Well, yeah, and that's one of those pride things, and that's something, like I said, building block in many ways for you.
Yeah. Anytime I feel like the pressure's on them anyway. If they win, people are like, well, they were supposed to. But if you win, it's a really good boost for your program. And I think the girls are about tired of we played good and almost got them. So we have them at home later in the season. And, I know that'll be a big game on our schedule, and it's right before tournament time. So we will look forward to that one.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about home for just a second, because anybody who has not been to Eagleville, it's a treat to go to that gymnasium. I've been there before. And talk about your facility that you have there, Coach.
That gym opened up in 1997, and, it still looks very good. We have just finished the floor all the way down to the wood, so it's a whole new design. It's a lot brighter, and we still call it the new gym. And we have the gym that used to be there, we still call the old gym. We've been told to name it the Alumni Gym and Gym A, but it's just known as the new gym. So even though that it's not new anymore, it still looks new, and it is a place that you go in and it's nice because it has everything you need.
Absolutely. Now, as far as your roster, let's talk a little bit about your roster. Your seniors, how many seniors you got? Just tell me a little bit about the Eagleville girls roster this year.
Yeah. This year we have 4 seniors, 3 returning starters, and Eliza McLaren, Shelby Mooneyham, and Isabella Sawyer. The 4th senior is Lydia Taylor, who came in late last year. So, she hasn't been there as long as the other girls, and, we try to work her in, and she's been a good asset to the team. So then we have juniors, Brindley Bain and Jules Weiss have been starting for us. So, they've come in and they've started. Jules' first year starting, and Brindley started last year and the year before. So it's her 3rd year coming back. Also, Mia Thompson is back, and Mia started as a freshman. She did not play as a sophomore, and so she took a year off just to concentrate on volleyball. She's a great volleyball player and a great basketball player. She's a great athlete. So it's taken her, and she had an injury right at the end of volleyball, so she's having a hard time coming back. And, that ankle just keeps bothering her. So we're trying to work her in a little bit at a time. So hopefully here in a week or 2, she'll hit her stride, because I know what she can do. She did it as a freshman. So, and then I have Sarah Marshall, bless her heart. She tore her ACL again and did that in the summer. So she also tore some meniscus, and, we're really going to miss Sarah. She was going to help us out inside. And speaking of inside, I have another junior, Riley Warbritton, very strong. And she's another multi-sport athlete. She's a great softball player, part of the state championship and runner-up teams. So I know that she brings energy, and good athlete. She's real strong, so she helps us in the post. So we also have Aubrey Merritt, who comes in, can play 1 through 5 for us, very knowledgeable. And then you go down to the sophomore class, have Mallory Lawyer, who's a guard, can come in and back up for us. MC Witt, trying to find exactly where we want her to be. She can play multiple positions and trying to lock in on one. And Bristol Hudson, she played last year, and she's coming along fine. And then we have a bunch of freshmen, which has been nice because our numbers have been a little bit lower, but we've already been hit with the injury bug. Kate Darnell has a torn quad. It's the worst one that I've seen in 25 years, and she's been out since Powder Puff. another powder puff injury, Cheyenne Cook, who had a great summer, tore her ACL. So I'm trying to get away from the powder puff thing. It seems like there's always a tough injury. And we have one freshman that's dressing varsity this year, Ashton Walker, who also started as an 8th grader on the state runner-up team and a very good athlete. And I'm really excited about this freshman class. You have Bailey Suter, who's well-rounded, can score the ball. Ava Armstrong, a big body inside, and she's improving, can shoot outside. Have Allie Grace Jackson, who is a tough defender and good scorer. And then Sophie Lamb, just like her. They're two intimidating guards out front. And so I'm really excited about the freshman class also. You know, they bring a lot of energy to practice, and so really excited about that group.
Coach, how many years have you been at Eagleville?
I've been there since, well, I graduated from there in 91 and then went to college, went to Forest High School to start in 96, stayed 1 year, and then had a 4-month stint at Liberty Middle School in Shelbyville. So since 1997, I've been at Eagleville. And do the math off the top of my head, but this is my 20th year as the girls' head coach at Eagleville.
So and you're mentioning your roster and all that kind of stuff, 20 years there. What this tells me is program. You've got to be awfully proud of what you have established at Eagleville and the program, because when you have the participation, you're talking about all these girls that play multiple sports. Of course, I know at a small school it's important for girls to play multiple sports because your pool is so much smaller. But the desire and the how they buy into this program, you got to be awfully proud about the Eagleville girls program.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long tradition. You know, you spoke of Coach Holland doing the back-to-back, state runner-ups. That started it, and just trying to, plug along and make it a program that the community's proud of and stuff like that.
Well, Coach, I think without question, you've been able to do that. I think that there are big things ahead for Eagleville girls basketball. So I'm going to encourage everyone, if you want to see some good girls basketball, you head out there to Eagleville. They've got a wonderful facility, and you've got a lot of exciting things. That's Chris Lynch. He's the head girls basketball coach at Eagleville. Get out there and see those Lady Eagles fly, because they're going to be flying high this year. Coach, we appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne-Marie Brents and the Lanning family.
We're at Rick's Barbecue talking with Anne-Marie Brents, who says they're ready to feed your entire crew with the family pack.
It's a pound of pork or any of our pulled meats, and then you get 2 16-ounce sides, and then you get a bag of chips, which are plain or barbecue, and then the buns come with it, and then you get one of our drink choices, which is either a 2-liter of one of our sodas or a half-gallon of one of our teas.
And don't forget the famous Rick's Loaded Baked Potato.
That's the biggest potato you can get. They're right at 2 pounds.
Let Rick's Barbecue do the cooking. 212 Warrior Drive.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Back here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified and mechanics and master mechanics. You can find out more at autorepairsmyrna.com. Time to talk some Stewart's Creek Lady Redhawk basketball here. Sloan Starkey joins us, the new head coach at Stewart's Creek. Already got a game under your belt, Coach. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, sir. Doing well. Good morning to you, Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, good to talk with you here this morning. And, it's always good to get game number 1 under your belt, game number 1 in Stewart's Creek history for you, and it was a win. So congrats on that one.
Yeah. First one in the win column. Yes, sir. We were excited about it for sure. It's a great atmosphere.
Nothing like that. That one was a home game on Tuesday night versus Warren County, and I guess got all those nerves and all that kind of thing out, right?
That's right. Yep, sure did. A lot of unexpected happenings have taken place thus far in the season, and Warren County coming in was one of those things where I wasn't real sure what to expect. So to play well in that environment, first game was exciting and a bit of a relief for sure.
Well, first of all, before we talk about the season and pardon me, and your team and all, tell us a little bit about Sloan Starkey. Tell us where you came from, all that kind of thing, and why Stewart's Creek.
Okay. So I've grown up bouncing back and forth between Texas and Tennessee. Met my wife here in Tennessee. We were middle school sweethearts. And as I transitioned back and forth between here and Texas, we had always stayed together. So I actually went to Overton High School my freshman year. After my freshman year, moved back to Texas, lived with my family in Texas there, finished school in Texas, played basketball at Texas Wesleyan University, got married, wife moved from Tennessee to Texas, and we've spent probably the last 15 years in our educational careers in Texas coaching. She's taught middle school, and then, of course, I've coached high school basketball at Newman International Academy in Texas. And then we knew one day eventually we would move back so that she could be back with her family in Tennessee. And so just time-wise, I had a phenomenal 6 years at Newman International Academy in Texas. And my sister-in-law was teaching at the elementary of Stewart's Creek. And so that kind of opened the door for application to Stewart's Creek High School. My wife got hired on first, teaching at the elementary level, and then that opened the door to be introduced to Coach Harris, the athletic director at Stewart's Creek. And Coach B had been at Stewart's Creek for the last 4 or 5 years. She's done a phenomenal job, and I'll say I'm reaping some of the dividends of her hard work over the last couple of years, and that's been great. So when she left, Coach Harris hit me up and asked if I'd be interested in girls, and so here we are.
Well, the girls basketball in Tennessee is something else. How does that compare to what you saw in Texas, competitive wise? I'm just curious.
Well, that's kind of my main struggle right now is having an eye for comparison. I've been loosely affiliated with our girls program as athletic director at Newman International. I've been involved in a lot of their practices, and I'd say competition-wise, it seems to be comparable. But obviously, Texas being a bigger state, having a larger pool, there may be some disadvantages there in terms of size and numbers and whatnot. But from everything I'm seeing, it's hard for me to gauge that right now coming from the boys' side. And I'll say Coach Moore has been phenomenal. He's been at Stewart's Creek coaching girls basketball at Stewart's Creek. He was with Coach B last year. He's been phenomenal to have on the staff, and he's really helped me pinpoint some of these things and get familiar with the girls' flow and the area. So yeah, it's been good. Shout out to Coach Moore.
Well, it's great to have you here in Middle Tennessee, and I guess everything is all obviously still very new and that kind of thing, which is great. But having some Tennessee roots, that's got to help you a little bit too, though. It
does. Yeah. In fact, in our parent meeting for the season, of course, I ran into a parent that we all had, inner circle friends from back at Overton. So, yeah, it's cool to see how the world gets kind of small sometimes in some situations.
Yeah, I guess it does. Well, Tuesday night you got the first win, 66-48 over Warren County, and so the season is underway for Stewart's Creek. So, kind of introduce us, if you would, to the Lady Redhawks. Who's playing for you this year? Maybe kind of give us an idea of who we're going to see on the floor for you.
Sure. So we have two seniors, our twins, Autumn and Ashley Crick. They've been here for 4 years at Stewart's Creek, and so they know the game very well. So they're our starting guards. And then we also are starting a junior, Layla Wilder, number 11. She had a phenomenal game. She actually produced a stat line that I had never heard of. She finished the game with a 5-by-5 last night or Monday night. Sorry, she produced more than 5 points in 5 statistical categories. So I think she finished with 9 points, 6 blocks, 6 rebounds, 6 steals, and either 5 or 6, maybe even 7 assists. So a 5-by-5, something that was new to me. I never even heard of that. And then we have 2 bigs. We have Jada Bernard, number 24, a junior. She finished with a double-double on the season opener, 10 points, 10 rebounds. And then another force down low, Camden Ward, number 34. She had a phenomenal game as well. So that's our starting lineup. And then we actually, our leading scorer from Monday night came off the bench. That's Bria Van. She's number 22. She scored 19 points she scored 21 points off the bench. Had a phenomenal fourth quarter. And then we have some other pieces that are going to be helpful off the bench as well. Young lady named Derry, number 2. She's going to be a good ball handler, a good passer for us. So that's kind of our key personnel as it stands right now. So we'll see how that transitions as the season goes on.
Do you feel like you're pretty deep, or are you going to, have maybe a 6 or 7 person rotation? How are you going to handle that?
I think we played 8 in that first game. So yeah, probably 6, 7, 8 is about as deep as we'll need to go.
And
but you never know. We may have some kids that come off the bench and some maybe some more lopsided games and do some things that surprise us. So you never know.
Well, and different coaches have different styles of play. What would you consider your style of play?
Adjustable, adaptable, for sure. It's hard to subscribe to a particular style, especially in the position that I'm in, coming in from something, a well-coached team, and Coach B, she's taught the girls very well over the last several years. So I'm just trying to adapt and adjust to what's best for us, coupled with, our opponents as well. So I don't want to get caught into subscribing to any particular style, if you will. So hard to answer that question.
Sure. And very good answer to that too. And defensively, I'm sure the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll mix it up a little bit. We're a little bit of an experimental mode. We did some things in our preseason that worked well and some things that did not work well. And so, every practice, every game has been a learning process, and a lot of things, like I've said, has been unexpected. We've been good at some things that I did not expect us to be good at, and we have not been good at some things that I thought we would be better at. So it's process for sure.
You've mentioned Bianca here quite a bit, and I'm sure you've had the opportunity to look back over some game film. You probably saw a lot of things that you are trying to continue on or implement yourself. Has that influenced some of the things that you are going to continue to do with the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched every game that they played last year. I've watched on film, in some cases multiple times, and there's been circumstances where I thought, why would they be doing that in that circumstance? And then now I'm seeing why, those calls were made. But also having Coach Moore on the staff, remaining on the staff from last year has been huge. In fact, there's been times where we've talked about substitutions, and he has full reign to sub as he needs to, as he sees fit. And there's been multiple times already in the preseason and in the first game where I've turned to make a sub, and he's already got that player at the scores table. It's pretty cool thing for us to be so synced up already. So yeah.
You definitely, and we're talking to Sloan Starkey, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Lady Redhawks here this morning. You've definitely got a very tough schedule. You've got Dyersburg on the road, a big road trip today. Mount Juliet, you've got Bradley Central. Of course, they're always tough. You're playing them. McMinn Central. I mean, just the schedule is tooth and nail and, gnashing of teeth, anything that you want to, talk about there. And I guess it's a little bit unfair to ask you about your new district because you probably don't know that much about it, but it is much more difficult now. And if you don't know, you're going to soon find out because you added Cookeville and a team that made a deep run. Of course, Lebanon, who was a Final Four and runner-up. And this is tough, tall cotton, if you will.
Absolutely. I'm all for playing the toughest schedule that we could possibly play. That's the only way we're going to get better and learn more about ourselves. In fact, I would say last year was the district play was a little bit of a disservice to the team in the sense that as they got into the playoffs, they probably were not as prepared as they could have been, at no fault of anybody, but probably not as prepared as they could have been had they had a little more tougher district schedule leading into it. So I'm all for taking a butt kicking here and there. That's the only way that we're going to learn. And so I've tried to. The schedule was fairly well set as I took the job, but every addition that I made was as difficult as I could have possibly made it. Including, I was super excited to get into the Bradley Central tournament. So for us to get on the road as a team and play last year's state champion and the team that bounced us out of the playoffs was. I'm pumped about that. So that's exciting. And then the addition of Blackman, a high quality program over the years. So I want to play as the toughest teams that we could possibly play. So,
well, Coach, I look forward to talking with you and the rest of our host here as well. And good luck on your trip here today. And I'm sure we'll see you at the gym here soon and broadcast some of the games. And it's going to be a fun ride. And anything we can ever do to help you promote Stewart's Creek athletics, we'll be glad to do it.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach. That's Sloan Starkey joining us, the head coach of Stewart's Creek Lady Redhawks on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity online at mte.com.
Your ride, your stuff. You live with them together. I'm State Farm Agent Bud Morris. It's smart to protect them together, to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-893-1417 and let me help you save by combining your auto and renters.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-895-2700 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
Hey, it's Brian. I'd like to tell you about my bank, First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. I want a bank where people know your name, say hi, and yes, even give me a sucker sometimes. Every time I go in, everyone's got a smile. Everybody at First National Bank of Middle Tennessee makes you feel so special. You get the hometown feel of a small bank with everything you'd expect from a big bank. Don't get that at yours? Come on over with me to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee on Gateway and Memorial Boulevards. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time to talk MTCS Sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
I'm Danny Brewer, and I am so pleased now to be joined on the Cougar Corner with head football coach Christian Peterson. Coach, how are we this morning?
I'm good. I'm real good.
Well, it's got to be a good morning. You're coming in off of a huge playoff win. So the Cougars are still playing football. It's almost Thanksgiving, and that's always, one guy once told me, he said, what you remember is November. That's right, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you get those Thanksgiving Day practices, you're doing something right. It's always kind of a standard, even when I was in Florida. I think you get to practice on Thanksgiving, you're having a pretty good year.
Well, that's really good. So let's talk a little bit about last night's game. It was at Columbia Academy, right? So not only a playoff win, but a road playoff win. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere, great environment for a high school football game. Columbia Academy had a bunch of people we had a bunch of people. It was loud. It was fun. It's what you look for in a high school football game. And, I'm proud of the kids for coming out and being locked in and ready to go and playing for 4 quarters.
So when we talk about road, you probably don't remember this guy, but there was a basketball coach named Al McGuire. He coached at Marquette, won the 77 national championship, I think, with Marquette. He told me one time in an interview his greatest coaching thrill. I said, Coach, what's your greatest coaching thrill? And I was thinking, hey, when we beat, Kentucky in this or whatever, he simply said winning on the road. That was his greatest coaching thrill, is winning on the road. So how big was it for you guys to go in there and maintain your focus and do what you needed to do last night?
Yeah, it was huge. Whenever you're away from home, your schedule's a little bit different. But I've talked about it kind of all year. We got a senior heavy team that kind of understands what's in front of us. And, they do a really good job of not looking ahead, and it's always about trying to win the next play. And if you're going to win on the road, that's what the mindset's got to be, because the other team's going to make a play, especially in a Final Four football game, right? Like, the other team's going to make a play. They're there for a reason. They're a good football team. You've got to be able to move on and get to the next play. Otherwise, the home crowd's going to get rocking and it can kind of turn on you a little bit. I think every time they started to get momentum last night, our kids found a way to take it back. And, that's a sign of a good football team.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about what happened and how the game played out last night. What was the final score?
35-27.
35-27, so a rocking game. And when you look at the stat sheet, I think, they had a lot more first downs than you did. I think total yards was about even and all that kind of stuff, but obviously an extremely evenly matched game.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, I think they ran twice as many plays as us. They went no huddle. They were trying to speed it up and try and add possessions to the game, because, we're never really going to be in much of a hurry. But I think our kids responded well. They made good calls, good checks, and then they came down. They tied it at 21, and we respond on the next play with a touchdown, and then come back. We get a big sack, leads them to 3rd and long, and then Jackson Heifel gets a pick, and we drive down. We score again, go up 35-21. I think that really kind of took the winds out of their sails a little bit. They came down, took a lot of time off the clock, finally punched it in the end zone, went for 2, didn't get it, so it was 35-27. They kick an onside kick, and they kicked about 4 of them. So, hats off to our return team there for getting the ball back, not losing possessions. And then we're able to run the clock out and get out of there with a win.
Outstanding. Super exciting. So let's talk a little bit about, you talked about, you like to play a little bit slower game because you like to run the football. And, when you think about, and I said this last night at the halftime of the Oakland Riverdale game, when you can run the football, you can win. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. You can win at home, on the road, when it's sunny, when it's raining, right? The run game's always there. But really, I think last night, as well as we ran the ball, I think it really got started. We hit a 51-yard touchdown pass on the 3rd or 4th play of the game. Guy in Yates' face, he throws it up, hits the wheel route, and then Briggs carries the guy for 5 yards into the end zone. And I think that really kind of set the tone early, right? So, we ran the ball well. We did a lot of good things, but that completion that we hit early in the game really kind of changed that momentum and let us settle into the game and really kind of get rolling offensively.
Because at that stage, they have to respect the pass, right? They can't just load the box and run. They have to respect your passing game.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's always the goal. We don't throw it a ton, but we want to throw it when we want to. And, I think we did that last night. We had a couple opportunities to hit a couple more big ones in the pass game. They made some plays on defense. They're, again, like I said, you start getting to the semifinals, Final Four games, whatever, they're good too, right? They're there for a reason.
Right.
And, it's don't get frustrated, right? They're going to make plays. Let's just go make plays back. and that's both offensively and defensively. Like offensively, they have a Mr. Football semifinalist also. Like he's gonna make some plays. Like there's a reason he's up for that award. If he makes a play, cool. Let's line back up. Let's go make the tackle on the next one. And same thing. If they make a stop with their defense, like, okay, guys, they have good players too. Like they have coaches over there who know what they're doing. Let's just line up. We're gonna make another call and let's go win on the next play. And I don't think our kids blinked at any point. When playoff game, tie game, third quarter, it's easy to kind of be like, oh man, here we go again. Triple overtime, the first one, and I think our kids just kept working.
Well, you got to be pleased with that and the mentality, because we've talked several times this year, and the mentality that you've established with this team. It's not okay to be okay. I remember that. It's not okay. It's not okay to be okay. How proud of you are these kids from what you saw last night with just what you've been working, you and your staff have been working as far as just the mentality you've tried to establish?
Oh, I can't say enough about these kids. They've done a fantastic job. They worked their tails off. When I got hired, I had most of the seniors come and see me right away and go, Coach, we're going to state this year. Like, we're doing it. And so, as a first-year coach, you're in week one of the job, and you got a bunch of seniors coming and tell you, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. I'm like, cool, let's go do it. But understand, like, we can't wait until the playoffs to start preparing for that. We've got to start preparing for it right now. Like, let's talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's work hard. And they did from spring practice all the way through now. They've busted their tails. And, they're a really close-knit group. I think that wins in the playoffs. If something bad happens, they're not at each other's throats. They're not all fighting and bickering, right? It's, hey, let's go. All right, they got one. Let's go. We'll get the next one. And so it's constantly picking each other up, constantly ready to go make the next play, playing good complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. Again, you get into these ones and you've got to be good in all three phases. And I think all three phases were good. Punt team was good. Kickoff team, the coverage was great. We recovered, I think it was 4 onside kicks. And then, they were averaging close to 50 points a game over the last month. So, to hold them to what we held them to is an accomplishment. And they gave their running back the ball 39 times last night. And, I think really good football player. And I think our linebackers were up to the challenge and kind of leaned on them a little bit. And, their quarterback made some throws. I mean, he made some of the best throws we've seen all year. He's a good football player. And then offensively, again, just sticking with it, understanding what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. They're coming over with good information between the O-line and the backs and, what they're trying to do. I think, again, they understand the why behind the offense. So it makes our job a lot easier calling plays. Because, we can see as much as we can see from the sideline, but having kids come in and knowing exactly what the defense is trying to do to them, and they can give you, hey, I really think this play's there. And that when you can trust your kids to come over and tell you, hey, I think this is the play, you go out and run it, and you pop a 66-yard touchdown, like, makes our job a lot easier.
It certainly does. And, I mean, talk about what that lends to just this. You talked about close-knit group, all this stuff. It's so fantastic to see. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen teams come together like this. How rewarding is that for you to see all this and to be a part of all this bonding and this? It's more than just team. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a special group. It really is. They're so much fun to be around. It's a long season. It is, but I don't think at any point anyone is ready for it to be done. Right? They're having so much fun playing with each other. The coaches are having so much fun coaching them. We just wanted to keep going as long as we can, and we're gonna get to play in the final game. And so, I kind of said at the beginning of the year that we were talented enough that we're gonna have a chance. And in high school football, when the season starts, you can say you have a chance. It's really all you can ask for. After that, you need some breaks to go your way. You need to stay healthy. You need all those things to happen. But, I thought when the season started, we were going to have a chance. And now we've put ourselves in an opportunity to to play for it all.
Coach, I know that you've got a really good team. I mean, you've got a really great group of kids, but let's talk about one in particular, Eli Wilson. You mentioned that they've got a Mr. Football semifinals. You've got a Mr. Football semifinals. Eli Wilson, 220 yards rushing, I think 13 yards a carry is what that kid averaged last night. And I think he's 15 or 16 yards per carry this year. Are my numbers reasonably accurate?
Yeah. Coming into the game, he was averaging 14.8 yards a carry. You get into a semifinal game and average 13 yards a carry. It's impressive. He runs hard. He broke some tackles. But shout out to the other 10 guys on the field, right? Offensive line blocked really well for him. On plays where there were fakes and he ended up with it. We had really good fakes that held people, and you give him a crease, he's liable to take it to the house. Really explosive player, and then we break a 66-yard run, goes and plays safety on defense. So again, just can't say enough about all of them. They played their tails off, and now we've given ourselves an opportunity, and again, that's all you can ask for. Just have a chance.
Just one more thing that I want to touch on that. Whenever you mention it, it's the other 10 guys too, because when you think about 13 yards a carry, when they know, I mean, he didn't sneak up on anybody. They knew coming in what this kid has done all year, but for them to be able to do that last night, total team effort. But once again, I mean, I keep adding cherries to the cake here, but man, it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable, right?
It is. It's fun. Everybody in the stadium, and there's multiple times a game where everybody in the stadium knows the ball's going to 22, right? The defense knows it. We know it, right? Their coaches know it. The fans know it. Heck, the cheerleaders probably know it, right? But at the end of the day, our kids know that he's going to give us the best chance. And, our kids block their tails off for him. And, like I said, on his long run, I think there was 2 different arm tackles he ran through, and then he got in the open field and took off. And so, again, just so proud of the effort and the energy level that they played with last night. And it's what you need to win those games. We kind of talked about it. It's going to take 4 quarters, guys. You don't go into these games and the other team just lays down. It just ain't going to happen. So you got to just keep punching. And then at the end of the game, and see where the chips fall.
So we've celebrated last night. Talk about, you got one more game. You're in the final game. That's in 2 weeks. Am I correct about that?
Yes, sir. November 30th.
And that's is it played in Chattanooga where the other ones are too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So who will we be matched up with?
Friendship.
So that's like the revisiting rivalry, because you beat them earlier in the year, right?
We did. Yeah. That's there, and John's got himself a few. So, McNeil's a really good football coach, and they're a really good football team over there. I think Colcott just broke the record, state record for rushing touchdowns in the season. He's a really good football player, and kind of very similar to this past week, right? I told the kids, we won the first one, but we don't get to start with a lead because we won the first one, right? There's no advantage, right? And it's not a best of 3 series. The only thing that matters is this one. It's a whole new football game, but at the same time, it's not any different than any other game we played. Yeah, cool. There's a state championship, and it's going to be in a different stadium and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the field's going to be the same size. There's going to be 11 people on the field for both teams, and we're going to go do what we do.
So, Coach, when does the 2 weeks, because you don't play this, it's 2 weeks, right? So does that play? Of course, I mean, you had a week in between because you had to bye the first week, right? So you're kind of used to it, but not used to it. So talk about that and the mentality of keeping kids' feet on the ground and understanding it's still about working every day.
Yeah, I think you get to this point, it doesn't matter. Both teams have the same schedule, and if you can't be focused to go get ready for a state championship game, then I don't know that you should be playing football, right? At this point, if you're not locked in practice and understanding what's in front of you, then you just don't get it. And our kids have proven all year that they do get it. And I'm excited for it. Again, excited for the opportunity. And as long as we play well, I like us.
Will you play on Friday or Saturday?
We'll play Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, so it's a Thursday night game. So it's a little less than 2 weeks then.
Yeah, so we'll be the 3:00 game. So we're right smack dab in the middle. So Double A will play first, then we'll play, and then Triple A will play after us.
Well, Coach, we certainly wish you the best luck. Man, so excited for you and the whole Middle Tennessee Christian Nation and all that kind of stuff over there. Great things happening. Christian Peterson, man, I don't know what to say, Coach. And that's hard to believe that a guy like me don't know what to say because I talk too much oftentimes. But Christian Peterson, great things. Middle Tennessee Christian School. Be sure and support them next Thursday for the state championship. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
I'm Danny Brewer. I'm joined now on the Cougar Corner with Middle Tennessee Christian girls basketball coach Hannah Jones. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm quite well. You know, I mean, when we think about this time of year, it's a glorious time of year. Holiday season's about to get started, which we're going to talk about some of that here in just a few minutes. But holiday season's getting started. We got football winding up, basketball starting. I mean, it's a great time of year, right?
Oh, yeah. Lots going on.
So let's talk for a couple minutes about Hannah Jones. How many years have you been the head coach at Middle Tennessee Christian School?
I am going into my third year right now.
Third year. And if I'm correct, you'll have to pardon me, you have been extremely successful to this point, right? Because you have had some pretty doggone good players.
Yeah, we have been we've maxed out the potential. We went as far as we could the past 2 years and made it to the state championship.
Yeah, because last year Webb School, has that kind of been has that been your nemesis? Is Webb, because didn't you lose to them last year 2 or 3 times? Is that correct? And I think they beat you in the state championship.
Yep, that's who we met both years in the state championship, and I played them pretty frequently both years.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of good news, bad news. There's a lot of familiarity there. So as far as so far this year, tell me about what has happened thus far this year. How many games have you played?
We have only played one college champions game, and we opened that at MTCS versus Baylor.
And Baylor, now that's a school that's pretty tradition rich in all sports. I know they've been really good in football, but talk about having a school like Baylor come to Middle Tennessee Christian School for your home opener.
Yeah, well, the coach, John Gibson, he does a really great job there. They're up in Chattanooga, so they made the trip to us, and they were very deep. They're very well run. They ran their stuff, which is a really great job against us. They've got some good pieces, and we ended up coming out on top at home. So that was really fun against a good team.
I think 55-46 was the final. Is that correct?
I think so. I know we had 55. We came out on top. So that was
And that's really all that matters, right?
all right.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about how the game went as far as your scores. I think because you did Anna Clay Shirley hit for 27. Is that right?
Yeah, she ended up actually getting in some foul trouble early in the second quarter, so she sat most of the second quarter and still had 27 points. I think she made 4 threes, and so she still had a pretty outstanding game in spite of the foul trouble. And then Ashley Rucker, another sophomore of ours, number 2, she came in big with 12 points, and I really think one of our seniors, Riley Smith, stood out. She was defensive player of the game, I think she was in double-digit rebounds, but defensively, she was the glue for our team, and I think that really opened up a lot for the rest of the players.
So let's talk a little bit about Shirley. What class is Anna Clay Shirley?
She is a sophomore.
Sophomore, lighting it up for 27. Wow, that's pretty impressive. How much did she play last year for your team?
She was a big key player for us last year. She was in the starting rotation as a freshman. And then the year before that, my first year, I pulled her up as an 8th grader. And she was 6th man, 7th man off the bench and was another key player as well. So she's had a lot of experience with me and with the girls at the high school level. So I think she's really stepping into her own as a mature player, even though she's only a sophomore.
That was what my next point was going to be. So she's technically an old sophomore, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, she definitely, I think, is a mature sophomore, but she is competitive. She's always learning. She is ready to tackle on a new challenge or to communicate to the team. So I think she's stepping up in ways that she didn't as an 8th grader freshman. And I think a lot of coaches don't always rely on youth as a leader, but I think Anna Clay is going to emerge as one of those leaders.
Well, and that's what you look for as a coach is you want to have leadership, whether it be a sophomore, senior, junior, whatever. There are certain players who are kind of born leaders. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I think some just have that natural communicative skill set, that energy. And I think others, they show it with their actions on the court or they're not as vocal. But I think Anna Clay is stepping into. She's always had the actions to back it up. I think the verbal part and that energy is coming along, and I'm really excited about it.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your roster as a whole. Obviously, you've got some outstanding sophomores here. How many seniors do you have?
We have 2 seniors, Lindsay Wisnowski and Riley Smith.
So a relatively young roster then, because how many do you dress for varsity?
Right now we have 11 dressing for varsity.
So 11 dressing and only 2 seniors. Obviously, you've got some pretty good talent in your underclassmen.
Yes. Well, I mean, the sophomore class is our largest class. Anna Clay Shirley, Ashley Rucker, who I mentioned earlier, Madison Graham. She had 9 points against Baylor. I expect her. She's also another competitor. She'll step up in big ways for us. Kylie Jo Byram. She is the 6th man off the bench. Like just you mentioned earlier, just kind of natural leadership qualities. She's got that kind of grit to her, so I'm really excited for her. And then 2 other post players. One is ineligible, and she came from Siegel, but she's ineligible. Her name is Neil Alexander. And then another newer to the game, Eliana Kessner. and she's just been a joy to be around. So that's, how many did I just say? Anna, Clay, Ashley, Joe, Maddie. That's 6.
Wow. So you've got an outstanding sophomore class, it sounds like, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's deep, and they all have great attitudes. They all are good kids. So I think in the long run, it's going to be really exciting.
So when we talk about, before we talk about what's coming up, let's talk about the establishment of athletic excellence at Middle Tennessee Christian School. I mean, this is not, girls basketball has been good. I know boys basketball has been good. Baseball has been good. Football is having an outstanding year. What's it like to be a part of all of this? Because there's lots of good things going on over there at that school athletically.
Yeah, just last night, shout out to the football team beating Columbia Academy. They're going to the state round. So we're so excited for them. I think it's just so much fun, and you know that your admin has your backs, and they support and they pour into the student athletes as well as all the programs at MTCS. And so it's just, when you pour into these kids and all of their extracurricular activities, and they go as far as they can, they're successful, there's just a lot of energy and there's a lot of love and support. So it's just kind of a passion to pour into those student athletes when you have admin that supports you like that, and you have a community that shows up in the stands every time, and it just makes it electric.
Do you feel like, there's an old saying, winning breeds winning. Do you think that because that program success from one sport to another helps as far as I know that you don't have any football players on your roster, but the success of the football team, do you think that helps your program in some ways, as far as, like you said, with the support and the fans and all that kind of stuff?
Well, of course, I think it's just the longer you play, the more people get to see you. They get to interact with our community, with our student athletes, and they get to see what MTCS is all about and the way that we compete, the way that we handle ourselves. And I think winning breeds winning, but I think for it to last in the long run and for our student athletes to be set up for success and for a lifetime is the way that you win. And I think that's what makes MTCS special. And a small private Christian school, K through 12, everybody's involved. Everybody is getting that Christian education. They also get to bring that onto the fields, the courts, wherever they're playing. So yeah, the longer you play, the more exposure you get to the outside world. And I think as long as we're doing it, which I believe we are, in the right way, winning will beget winning.
And I think that's what they call building a Cougar Nation, right? Because you got a Cougar Nation going on over there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of coaches, it's hard to do. It's even just building a culture that will last you a long time, that's built on great foundations. And I think that's the direction MTCS is in. That's why you're seeing these results.
So let's talk about what's coming up. Yeah, I think you got a couple of home games coming up. So talk to me about who you got over the next few days.
Yeah, we're going to play back-to-back Monday, Tuesday at home. We will open. The first game is Father Ryan, and they are a smart, well-run team. They're going to, I think, in my opinion, try to just dig deep, keep you out of the paint, make it a gritty, low-scoring game, but try to push it. They've got a couple of key players we have to lock in on, but I think that'll be a really good matchup for us. And then completely different style, going to a bigger Cookeville is who we are hosting. So I like this setup, playing two completely different teams back-to-back, because it just kind of trains your brain, trains the girls, if you get into a state-run situation again, where you're going to play different great teams back-to-back.
So as far as like the Cookeville game, because they're like a 4A school, so having a school that's got, their enrollment is a lot larger than yours, of course, in basketball, it's not as much factors in football, stuff like that. But still, having a school like Cookeville come into your house, good news for you as far as like you talked about trying to grow these girls. So the question is, when you have a team like Cookeville, you schedule somebody like Cookeville that's a 4A public school coming in to your house to play, and that's just another building block for your girls. You feel like scheduling a game like that.
Yeah. Why would I mean? I think it can be daunting when you look at the numbers of the school, or if it's a big school who has had a lot of success. But I'll play almost anyone, and just if they're going to make us better, they're going to challenge us in a different way that maybe our district won't really show us, then I think that's worth playing. Oh, sorry, that's my dog.
That's okay.
So I think it's just we'll play people who are ready, and win or lose the outcome of whatever happens, then I think that's worth the experience for our girls.
It's just another building block, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's kind of change things a little bit. I think last year you and I talked about cooking because I like to cook and like to eat. So what Thanksgiving? What's on the agenda? What's on the menu for Thanksgiving? Because we got that coming up this coming week.
Do you mean literally or figuratively? Because last time you asked the question, I think I went all into food. And do you want it with the players or actually what my family's doing?
We're going to talk about what the family's going to eat this time. Down the road, we'll talk about some figurative cooking. But right now, what do we got cooking for Thanksgiving for the family meal?
So Kristen and I are doing something a little different. Almost every year, my mom is the one who takes the helm and we get a big family dinner. Like my mom, who, if you ever come to a game, Deb, shout out to her. Everyone loves her. She is in South America. So our family is kind of all doing their own thing. So it's just going to be my husband and I. And I'm so excited. And we are ordering Martin's Barbecue.
There you go. So we're going to do a little bit of different Thanksgiving. Because, the thing about it is, it doesn't matter what you're having, whether it's turkey or prime rib or what have you. It really doesn't matter because it's all going to be good, right? And it's all something that you give thanks for, because that's really what this is all about, is giving thanks. Yes, ma'am. So it's all about giving thanks. Really, it doesn't matter whether you're having Martin's Barbecue or fried turkey. It's all about giving thanks, right?
It is. And I think that my husband and I are just he coaches as well. We're thankful for this time. A lot of people think it's busy, but we love basketball. We love coaching. But I'm excited. This is the first time we'll just be him and I.
Outstanding. Coach, we certainly appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck. That's Hannah Jones. She's the head girls basketball coach over at Middle Tennessee Christian School. She's doing some fantastic things. She's a big part of Cougar Nation. If you want to see some fantastic girls basketball going over there Monday, Tuesday night, you can see some really good action. Coach, appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner. Fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
All right, welcome back in as we begin to wrap things up here on our Coaches Show for the morning. John Dinkins joins me, and we have had a hectic morning here with all the coaches.
It's been kind of wild. It really has. But we got through it.
I'm exhausted.
Well, we combined some sports.
Yeah.
When you do that, it's rough.
Girls basketball off to a good start here, and hoops in general, and football coaches on this morning. It is the last time that we will have the football coaches on. No Coaches Show next week. And, I know Danny had conversation with Christian Peterson, but my goodness, MTCS making it to the championship game, and they're having to play back through some of the teams that they've already beaten in the regular season to get there, and playing through their region in the championship. That's pretty cool with Friendship Christian in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's also can be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting there and you know each other very well by this point. And so to put a new wrinkle into anything, you may want to try to experiment with that a little bit. But congratulations to MTCS on a just a great ride, really. I mean, just it's been great.
Friendship Christian, of course, is the defending state champion. We got to see them last year. You might remember we went to Friendship Christian and did their last game of the regular season last year. And, of course, MTCS won that game, a very close one this year to win the region. So we'll see what happens in the championship game. That'll be on November 30th. So they've got a week off. And then they'll play on that Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock versus Friendship Christian. So big one there. And I guess it would be kind of akin to like if Oakland and Riverdale played each other for the state championship game,
Right, yeah. That's kind of the feeling.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately that doesn't get a chance to happen. But, Oakland, we're going to be heading out and following them, and that's going to be an exciting week too.
Did you find a Golden Corral in Cleveland?
I have not looked it up yet.
Okay.
I'm going to do that, and I'll report to you on Monday. But
you're kind of in charge of the dinner reservations or lunch, or I guess it'd be an early dinner for us.
Correct. I'm hoping Brett will call me. Brett Rigsby will call me and tell me where he's eating, and that might be the easiest thing to do.
Okay.
Go with him.
I think Dalton may have found something.
According to the report ran, there is a Golden Corral at 350 Stewart Road in northeast Cleveland, Tennessee.
You've got to be kidding me.
There is a Golden Corral.
Uh-oh.
There's no reason to go. Well, I had COVID last time I went. I'm not sure I want to do that. I think wasn't it at that game too? I think it was.
That was when we went to Cookeville.
Oh, that was a state
championship game.
That's when you gave the two of us COVID.
Yeah, but
I
felt
game?
good that day.
Yeah, I
wasn't running a fever just the day before.
That was the start of an interesting December 2020. But speaking of Oakland, 10 semifinal appearances in a row. They're going for a chance to try to four-peat, which they've got Bradley Central, which is down in Cleveland, which is what we're talking about. We're going to go broadcast that game next Friday. And keep in mind, they're in Eastern time zone, so everything moves up an hour. So our broadcast, our pregame will begin at 5:30, and the kickoff will be at 6 here Murfreesboro time. So
we'll be home early.
Well, it'd probably be around 11 o'clock or so.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
Not bad. That's the time I got out at Riverdale the other night.
Yeah, we looked it up here from the radio station. It's about 2.5 hours or so if you drive speed limit. So
you just won't be going to Maryville.
No, it's the first time in 22 years they haven't been in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
It's nuts. So, well, we've had an extended time here on the Coaches Show this morning. Again, no Coaches Show next Saturday. It's Thanksgiving week, and we will have the football game for you on Friday. We've got lots of things coming up Middle Tennessee-wise today. The Blue Raiders will be hosting UTEP in just a matter of moments, we're going to get you to JP Plant and the pregame show for Middle Tennessee. And then as soon as the final play in the football game takes place, we're going to immediately take you from MTSU to the Bahamas, where Dick Palmer is wearing his tropical shirt and shorts.
Well, that's a tough assignment.
With his knee-high socks and tennis shoes and sunglasses.
Is he really going to wear tennis shoes this time? Okay. All right.
Well, he's not wearing
loafers?
He's not wearing, sandals or flip-flops or anything. But he's going to bring you the game as Middle Tennessee Lady Raiders will be playing Michigan. They're playing in the Battle for Atlantis. So they'll play today, they'll play tomorrow at 1 or at 6, depending on the outcome of that game, and then on Monday as well. So Lady Raiders immediately after the final play of the football game. So we've got a lot of Blue Raider sports ahead for you today. Want to thank you for joining us for the Coaches Shows, and hope you and yours have a very happy Thanksgiving out there. Want to thank Danny Brewer and John Dinkins, our producer Dalton Barrett, and all of the coaches for being here, and you as well. So long, and enjoy the Raiders here today on WGNS Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the Law Offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
It's a Blue Raider game day. Welcome to the Blue Raider Tailgate Show. The Blue Raider Tailgate Show is presented by Window World of Murfreesboro, the official window and exterior remodeling company of Blue Raider Athletics. State Farm, when you want the real deal like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Your Middle Tennessee Ford dealers. And by Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford, the official hospital partner of MTSU Athletics. Now here's JP Plant and the old pro, Dick Palmer.
And welcome in to the Blue Raider Tailgate Show from Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. JP Plant here with you as the old pro gets an old pro assignment down in the Bahamas for women's basketball. You'll hear him on the Blue Raider Network later on today. So I'm joined by the voice of the Blue Raider football, Mr. Chip Walters. Chip, welcome in. How are you, sir?
I hope I can hold up my end of the bargain here with the old pro down in the Bahamas.
It's a lot of history.
Yeah.
It's a lot of history for that. Well, there's a lot of history for 11 guys who are playing their senior day today, Chip, and what a ride it's been. A lot have been here for a long time as that COVID 6-year thing. We got a few of those.
Yeah, we do. There's 11 guys who'll be on the Floyd Stadium turf for the final time today. They include defensive lineman Jordan Branch, linebacker Jonathan Butler, wide receiver Zach Dobson, wide receiver DJ England Chisholm, safety Trey Fluellen, who is in street clothes today and is out for the year, offensive lineman Jakee Graham, offensive lineman Devin Hayes, linebacker Jalen Ram, cornerback Teldrick Ross, defensive lineman Jordan Starling, and wide receiver Jeremy Tate. Starling will become the most veteran of Blue Raider players today, as this will be his 61st game in a Blue Raider uniform, more than any other player in the 109-year history of the program. He will have played more games than anyone.
There you go. Professor Chip Walters in history class is just beginning here. Who says you can't hang with the old pro with history, Chip? Well done. All right, it is senior day, and the UTEP Miners are in town. The 6th meeting all time. We'll talk more about that. We'll get your tailgate forecast and our tailgate from the deck chef. It's a good one. You know it is, from Texas. So stay with us as we're just getting started. The Blue Raider Tailgate Show versus UTEP on the Blue Raider Network from